Welcome on into a Friday stream. How you guys doing? How's the week, man? Everybody holding up okay out there? Everybody holding up okay? Hey, I should probably explain what happened to the Discord, huh? Some of you guys are probably like, what the hell? Where did everything go? Because Discord can be a little bit, tricky. Music louder, please? You want me to blow out your ear holes? Like per usual? Should I maybe blow out your ear holes? Getting ready to set a tile floor. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Set it right, man. Don't screw it up. You know, just the slightest little bit off, and you probably have to redo the whole thing, you know? So no pressure, Josh. You know? From one Josh to another. Oh, shit. Hang on. No pressure. Hey, by the way, how's the stream looking? Is everything okay? I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like the interdimensional beings are really trying to get me this week. Is it glitchy or is it just me? I don't know. Nah, are we good or no? Jet! Let me try to get this out of here. Delete that. That I was like going through storage on the computer a bit yesterday because I was just like, what is going on with the fucking computer, you know? Because it should be fine. Like it's you know, it's a relatively new computer still, got good processor, good everything. So I was like, what the hell is going on, right? Dude, it's so weird. There would be like random folders that had like 20 gigs of like video files that like I haven't looked at in 5 years. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience, but I'm trying to get it sorted out here. I'm trying to get it sorted out here. Are we glitching though? Let me look at chat. Hang on. Let me get chat pulled up here. Trev, what's up, buddy? You all right, bud? How's the stream, guys? Are we good? Are we glitching or no? Hey, man, what's up with the America Chavez character? Work a lot. If you covered this, might be. What do you mean? That's a very broad question. Like, just in general, what's up with her? I mean, we're going to talk about her a little bit later. We'll talk about her in the MCU, her comic book origins and stuff like that. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Is that what you're driving at? I have a homework folder, too. I think everyone should be deleted besides Tom and have the future focus on just the X-Men and the Spidey stuff. That's not a bad take. I kind of picking up what you're setting down. What if I told you I think Tom goes? I mean, we'll get into it, but no, get him out of there. I've had enough of Tom. Or have I? Arc Raiders is pretty sick for anyone that's into extraction shooters. Oh yeah? Is it pretty good? Maybe I'll check it out. I mean, that Battlefront game, or Battlefield rather, is blowing up, crushing it, way above expectations, which is kind of interesting. You don't know. But yeah, Arc, what's it called? Arc Raiders? Is that what it is? I like Tom. We gotta ban Tom, man. So this guy Tom in the Discord chat last night, just jinxing the shit out of the Steelers, man. I couldn't believe it. I'm like getting back from the gym. I'm putting the Steelers game on. I'm feeling good. I was kind of watching the score a little bit at the gym, but you know, it was early. So yeah, sat down on the couch after a long fucking day, turned the Steelers game on, ready to relax. I opened up the Discord just to see how everybody's getting along in there. And this guy, Tom, is like, he has this big message about how, oh my goodness, they're looking really good. Can't believe it. Aaron Rodgers might be back. Steelers looking good. Can't believe they might get another divisional win. Oh my goodness, you might have been right. And I immediately, my heart was like, oh, because he jinxed it, man. He fucking jinxed it. He's Tom. So anyway. Yeah, tough one. But you know what? Honestly, so I guess what I'll say just a little bit. Yeah, Flacco. Jesus, Flacco. Joe Flacco. So sick of Joe Flacco, man. Justice Clemente, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, or I guess welcome back. You are a Nerd Venger once again. I guess I'll just say like really briefly about the Steelers or whatever. Positives are O-line playing better. And also Aaron himself is a couple of times was like had some pretty good movement. Like it's weird to say, but that Achilles thing might actually be all the way resolved. Knock on wood, or maybe he just has a little pep in his step still, but either way, movement looked good. Obviously the negatives are the defense. The defense got fucking shredded, which is pretty crazy. But also Joe Flacco, I mean, you know, Flacco's pretty good, obviously. 18-year vet. And the receivers on the Bengals are absurd. So they basically just showed out and kind of shredded apart the defense, which is a bit unfortunate. And I also think Cincinnati played really well and everything. Credit where credit's due. But yeah, kind of tough. But on the bright side, I would say, as from a Steelers fan perspective, guys, it would often be the case over the last like 3 to 4 years that like once a score got into the 30s, it was pretty much out of reach for us. Meaning we didn't have the ability to sling and make a comeback. And so for a while, a Steelers game, once it got to a certain score, was kind of just over. And that is no longer the case. They can ball now, and they can light it up and put points on the board. And they did that a little bit last year, too, with Russ. But, yeah, Aaron's just really dropping some dimes. If they can get a trade, if they can get, like, you know, because there's some rumors that they're going after some really big talent in the receiver area. But I honestly think even just another good target, or maybe another couple good targets in rotation, could be great. So we'll see what happens. It's early in the season still, but tough one, man. The Browns, they can't I guess I'll pull this up. This is the meme that kind of solidifies my feelings about the Browns trading Joe Flacco to divisional rival. Which sucked. I can't fucking believe it. When is this 6'5" unibrow freak of nature going to retire? This fucking guy. It's too much, dude. It's too much. Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Anyway, guys, we have a lot to get into today. Might cut the intro a bit short. Might not yap for 40 minutes before we get into all the topics like a usual show here. Because we have a lot to get into, actually. There's several... Dude, it's crazy, like... I don't know why it feels like this, but it just feels like so much is happening. So much news. There's so much freaking news, man. Like, so much freaking news. Oh, my God. Joe Flacco, hilarious. Yeah. Slow week for Marvel news-wise? I think maybe a bit. So let me run you through the things that So let's do this. I'll run you through the things I have on my list, and maybe we can drop a couple. Maybe some of these are not that big of a deal, and we can just get right into the tier list, which I think would be fun. I am going to need a little bit of help on the tier list too. So I have on the list the Lanterns leak, which is actually pretty interesting. Talking about the DCU, the big future bad villain. I have here Zack Snyder's Superman post. Henry Cavill Superman post Zack Snyder. I see you, baby. I have AMC and Netflix end a generational blood feud and might destroy the entertainment industry together. That's pretty crazy. We have Dragon Ball enters the arena with massive announcements this coming Sunday. Major rumors possibilities of multiple animated projects, and you can't really have an anime renaissance and an anime takeover of Hollywood without Dragon Ball, without one of the most OGs in the world. So Dragon Ball, I think, about to announce pretty big shit. Not that they're pooping it, but like big time shit that's coming as an announcement. Not. You get it. I have Doomsday is shooting again, or is it? But maybe it is. We have Marvel Rivals doing something cool with a PvE mode and zombies, and also Brad Linderbaum showing up in a video with Marvel Rivals devs. Kind of interesting development there. We could talk about that. We have George talks about Star Wars. Which George, you ask? The George, the one, the fucking George. George Lucas talks about Star Wars and made us all cry. It's pretty sad. We have the completed total failure of Magic the Gathering Spider-Man set, and some really weird behavior from Hasbro's as that shit is going down. So those are my topics. What do you think? We can drop some of those? There's a couple of those we can drop. Scrap the DC stuff and talk about everything else. Okay, that's fair. C-Dub! Yeah, don't care. Drop the Star Wars shit. Don't need to hear about it. Okay, so let's drop. Hang on. So if I drop the DC stuff, let's just do this here. What the hell? Do I drop? Okay, and then drop the Star Wars stuff. Dude, what is going on here? Is it Surface? That's so weird. Okay, we don't have any topics then, so we can just get right into the other shit. This is peak nerd venging. Let's fucking go. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. The tier list is gonna be really fun. I'm excited to get into some of these news bits too, but the tier list is gonna be really fun. Should we get into it? Give me just a moment here, chat. Give me just a moment. The AMC and Netflix thing is very interesting. I agree. I think it is a game changer. Changer. All right, fuck it, man. I say we get into this. Is there some lag before we get going here? Is the stream fucked up? Is there lag? Is everything bad? Do I need to restart the stream, or maybe we just take the weekend and try again on Monday? I have an eye booger. Everybody's saying lag. I guess we're gonna have to call it there. Sorry, chat. Sorry, guys. Everybody's in. If you notice in chat, everybody's complaining about it. So, I wanted to do a show today. I guess we're not gonna be able to. GG's. All right, I'll see you guys later. All right, let's get into the news. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. All right, let's talk about this one, man. DC. This is really quite interesting. It's one of my favorite kinds of stories because it's one of those secretive, oh no, was this accidentally revealed kind of stories. And I saw this pop up on Reddit actually the other day. And it was accompanied by a video that Warner Brothers had already taken down by the time I got to the Reddit post. But essentially, this is a gift that was given to the crew of the Lanterns show. Okay, and it's got a little note, I guess, on the side that might be from one of the directors or main writers of the show and whatnot. And then you have this symbol here. Now, what's interesting is that symbol is obviously a Green Lantern symbol. Okay, but what's more is it actually has another symbol within it, and that is this sort of spiral ripple symbol. Okay, and so there's a lot here. Some of you probably already know where this is going. And that would be the Darwin Cook New Frontier thing, and Gods and Monsters and that whole connection. But let me just kind of lay it out there for those of you that are not initiated or whatever. This is a pretty big sign of what the sort of Thanos of Gunn's DCU is, which, you know, a lot of people think maybe it's Brainiac, right? Because there's some evidence that Brainiac is going to be this big part of what he's building, and that could be the case as well. It really does seem like Brainiac might have something to do with Supergirl, and it certainly seems like Brainiac might have something to do with Man of Tomorrow. Okay, but remember, everything that's going on right now is setting up for their Thanos, for their big event thing, their end game. Okay, and when Gods and Monsters was first announced, it was actually announced as the first chunk of a 10-year plan, meaning you could think of it as like phase one, maybe, is one way to think of it, right? And I know a lot of stuff has kind of changed behind the scenes, and Gunn is probably workshopping how all of this will go, at least, you know, the way that he wants it to go and whatnot. But that was always the promise, was that there was going to be this big thing. And just as a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, there was really good reporting out in the trades that there was a big event thing, that they were building towards something that I think the trades reported was a 6-year plan. Okay. So what I'm saying is Brainiac could actually be more like a Loki or an Ultron or another, like a Ronan the Accuser. Brainiac could be a lower kind of setup villain for Gunn's true Thanos, which a lot of people have suggested is this character known as the Center. Okay, now, by the way, before we go any further, let's just take one step back and understand that this would be one of the weirdest things ever. But that's also why I kind of believe it, because it is James Gunn. So consider this. What do we know about Mr. Gunn? James is a big, sweaty comic book nerd. And he loves obscure, big, sweaty, weird comic book shit. Okay? That's kind of his thing, you know? Starro, you know, like that's Gunn. Okay? So if you asked James Gunn, like if you were, let's just say it like this. Imagine you were a teacher, okay? And you're at the front of the class, and, you know, in your class is like a Kevin Feige and a James Gunn and a Zack Snyder, okay? Just as one example. And you know what? Let's throw like a Dave Filoni in there too, okay? But wow, what a great class you've got. One class count, fucking James Gunn. Anyway, point is this. So you're in class, okay? And you give them all an assignment, and the assignment is you're about to build a cinematic universe. Who's going to be your big villain for your first big arc? Okay. Now, within that class, you're going to have people like Dave Filoni, who's going to be like, Abeloth, you know? And Dave's like doing his little sketch of Abeloth, right? You know? And it's like, hey, I said, stop wearing that cowboy hat in class, you know? And then you go to Kevin, and Kevin's like, it's going to be Doctor Doom, but he's really Tony Stark variant thing. Everybody will get it. And you're like, okay, man, all right, okay. I mean, okay, sure. And also, why do you have a hat on too? This is getting weird. You know, and then you go to Zack Snyder, right? And Zack Snyder would be like, Darkseid, you know, fucking also he's big dick Darkseid, and he's jacked and shit. And you're like, I don't understand why he has to have a huge penis or whatever. But okay, Zack, you know, thank you for not wearing a hat. Okay. But then you'd go to, you know, the other person in the class, you'd go to Jimmy Guns, and Jimmy Guns would be like, the Sentry. And you'd be like, the fuck is that? What is that, James? And he'd be like, it's this really deep cut thing that blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how your class would go. Okay? So I say that just to illustrate that this isn't surprising. Okay? This is very Gunn. Okay, so with all of that said, who is the Sentry? You know, who is the Sentry? Well, it's the center, I guess. And it's a kind of like the way I've understood it, it's almost like an island, it's almost like an island that has a consciousness that's a eldritch demonic entity that is doing really shady stuff, like kind of like affecting all this shit. That's kind of like the basics of it. Okay, now we can look more into it. I'm sure there's more to it. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong because again, Jimmy Guns is like, it's this century. It's this really like niche thing or whatever. Anyway, point being, this all fits. Okay, now again, this has been on a lot of people's radar, and if I scroll down in the comment section here, you can see that this is from Reddit from 2 years ago. Okay. And this person here, Paulina Cheers, which I forget exactly who she is, right? But she posted, after James Gunn's big DC official announcement, something tells me maybe it's a good time to revisit this. And she posts New Frontier, Darwin Cook's New Frontier, okay? Now, within New Frontier, there is literally a chapter within this book called Gods and Monsters. And within Gods and Monsters, that chapter within New Frontier, they explore the entity known as the Center. Okay? And this again, the Center is this really weird, really obscure kind of idea of like an ancient, powerful, like kind of perennial thing that has been manipulating gods and monsters in the age of things. Like that's like my base level understanding of it, which by the way, I'll ask ChatGPT in a second, what the fuck is the Sentry? And then we can call Rob and see if like he even understands what it is or something like that. Right. But the point is like, let's stay on target here. So there's evidence going back to the New Frontier thing, going back to the idea of gods and monsters, that this, is a part of it. I remember there were even moments when we were getting ready for Superman that the kaiju itself almost felt like a nod to the Sentry or to the Center. And it was like this idea that maybe that was coming from there to come in and influence and test or whatever, like all of that kind of stuff. And so this has just been like an ongoing thing that a lot of people have talked about. Okay, so now going back to the lanterns thing, right? How and why could lanterns connect to the Center? And like, why do people find this? Why are people thinking this is what's going on, right? Okay, again, that symbol corresponds to it in the comic books, but also old comments from Gunn in that original video. Okay, in that original video where Gunn came out on the lot and was like, The Flash is the best movie ever. Shazam's always been off in his own corner of the universe, so he's easy. Like, remember that video? Well, within that video, while describing lanterns, he describes it as a terrestrial murder mystery, true detective type story, but it also connects to the wider story of the overall DCU. I forget the exact quote, but like Gunn from Jump Street, when talking about lanterns, basically said that a mystery within that show would connect to his Thanos, essentially, his Thanos. Right. So that is, do you see now how like all of this stuff is connected and people are really starting to think that it is the Center? Now, I didn't watch Peacemaker, right? Just not for me. But if you look at what RJ's saying down here, I think that a lot of people agree with him basically that Salvation, which I think is like the dimension at the end of Peacemaker, which he maybe gets sent to or whatever, that it's a mixture of the Dinosaur Island, a mixture of Salvation but Dinosaur Island from New Frontier. So I think Gunn is actually playing with multiple things there. I actually think he's playing around with the Grant Morrison idea of Mageddon, this big like asteroid thing that makes everybody's lizard brain activate or whatever. So I think he's like mixing that and Salvation and the Dinosaur Island or the Center from New Frontier. And I think he's going to try to tell this like really weird story of that being this thing that has kind of messed with the DC multiverse or whatever for a long time. I think that's where this is headed. Okay. And possibly the Center did emerge 300 years ago with the emergence of metahumans. That's an interesting thing to bring up, and maybe Gunn is cooking that into the canon as well. So that's kind of the TLDR here, guys. Let me just quickly ask ChatGPT, which some of you will be so furious about, but let me just ask ChatGPT to give me a quick breakdown on the center in DC Comics. Give me a quick understanding of the center from DC Comics. Let's see how far off my understanding was. Center is an ancient sentient island that predates humanity, essentially the first living organism on Earth, born when the planet was still forming. Over time, it observed life evolve and came to hate humanity, viewing humans as chaotic and destructive. It's a landmass and a consciousness, an intelligent psychic entity capable of reshaping itself, controlling creatures, and unleashing catastrophic power, lava storms, monsters, etc. It's basically a living island with god-like abilities. The role it had in New Frontier is where it becomes the unifying threat that forces superheroes like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, and the Flash to finally come together and form the Justice League. Interesting. The idea is that humanity and heroes must overcome fear and division to face this primal existential threat. It represents fear, evolution, and the resistance to change, a metaphor for humanity's struggle to move past its violent and paranoid nature. Interesting. I gotta say, I mean, that's a really cool idea, you know? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think a lot of these things that we talk about with Gunn specifically kind of fall into the camp of, well, I'm a big sweaty nerd, so this sounds fucking cool to me. But also, if I put my pundit hat on, I'm like, I don't know, brother. I just don't know if this is the move. You know, a big conscious island that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Chad. It's very James Gunn. It's very Jimmy Guns. So I don't know. I worry a bit, you know, and maybe, yeah, Darkseid again would be a little obvious, but also big, bad, evil looking dude that makes Giga Chad one-liners, gets beat up by the bad guys. I don't know. I mean, that's, you know, there's a reason there's been a lot of events that have a similar, you know, kind of thing to that, and they do tend to sell very well. So that's kind of the thing. Now, guys, what do you think of this shit? Like, what do you guys think, man? Well, like, is this too much? Can they make this work? Can it work as it could put other villains into play? I don't know. So the center is basically Krakoa, which came first. Well, Krakoa, I mean, I would say Krakoa is very different, but in the sense that it is a sentient island or whatever, sure, yeah. Yeah, that is similar for sure. The center of Uranus. Hey, you don't say that. It could be cool, but it's probably going to be snarky joke cracking island, and I'm good on that. Can you imagine if he cast himself as the center? And he's like, I've been the center of the whole universe the whole time, everybody. The haters were right, and it's all about my ego, and it doesn't fucking matter because Warner Brothers can't stop me now. I'm the goddamn center. I mean, that is kind of scary. Krakoa was created in the 70s by the CIA, probably. Could it be something planted by Necron? Well, Trev, let me ask you this. You know, you're the DC expert here, bud. Could that be referencing Black Hand, maybe? Could that not be the center? Could this be Black Hand? Are we getting this a little wrong? Because I did think at first, I was like, oh, dude, that kind of looks like Black Hand. But it's not. I mean, they are different. But there was that Black Hand leak, right? Where that guy kind of let it slip that he might be playing Black Hand. Frustrodamus, what up, brother? Says 58 months, man. Thank you for all that you do, Nerve Engines for Life. Thank you, brother. 58 months is a long time. Thank you for all that support, man. Truly appreciate that. Just give us Darkseid or Brainiac. Yeah. Should ask ChatGPT when its map of DC would be compared to Guns to see which one cooked more. Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting, but you know, the AI is designed to give us the answer we like the most. So not necessarily the best. I mean, it would please us very well, but that's because it's created to kind of please us. I hate James Gunn's accent when he says gods and monsters. What accent? What accent are you? What? I mean, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the guy, but I don't know what that's about. Not wrong, but mixed together. Interesting. Okay. Could be elements combined. Yeah, fair. We saw Darkseid and it was lame. What? You show me lame Darkseid, and I'll tell you need your eyes fixed. There's never been a lame Darkseid. Show me a version of Darkseid that was lame. Doesn't exist. He's so powerful that every single version of him has aura. What do you think will be the villain of the Batman Part 2? Corporate contracts. Paramount. Jimmy Guns. Hard to say. Thanks for being so entertaining, Josh. Hey, appreciate you, brother. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, baby. This is why Gunn is CEO, because you have the takes like that. Okay, bud. Well, I better shut the fuck up then. Hey, stop the takes. Stop the presses. Stop the takes. If I have to sacrifice that shit to make it no more Gunn, no more takes, guys. This is the last clip you'll ever see on the Clips channel. Bye-bye. Daddy Dane Gaming, member for 35 months, says, what up, y'all? Been a minute. Hope everything is well. Nerdvengers started a new job, and I can finally make streams again. Much love. J Mike Gaming, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, and no worries on that. Life takes us in different directions, you know? Like, I thought about disappearing for a while. You know? I was like, what if I just disappeared? Remember, Theory said that on Monday, too. He's like, I'm thinking about disappearing. I'm thinking about disappearing, too. Abracadabra. Poof. But it's good to see, man. The themes are cool, but James' silly style with something so esoteric is not going to mesh well. The Russos would cook by adding realism. Yeah, I agree. Hey, get out of here! Watch those wrist rockets go, Bengals! Get the fuck out of here! I know I just talked some shit on your boy, but you got to come in here with that hate. Jay Robbins, Nerdvengers for life. Love all that you do. This island thing sounds a little ridiculous. Thank you, Jay. I hope you are having a good day, brother, and I appreciate the support. I think it's ridiculous, but also like kind of my version of ridiculous, man. So like I'm kind of fucking down, dude, but I like that weird shit. I also, when I put my pundit hat on, I'm like, again, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't think it's I don't think Lanterns into Supergirl into Clayface is strong. I'm sorry, I don't. And there's like people out there trying to tell me like, oh no, this is great and shit. I'm like, no, this is very James Gunn. And I will probably like most of it. But the industry that I cover, I don't know that they are going to fuck with this as it is currently prescribed. You know, it's like, yeah. How can an island do anything except get deleted by a nuke? Well, because it has consciousness and it can possess dinosaurs. How about that? It's odd, but I like these characters. Yeah, fair. I just joined your stream. Is this your first topic, Josh? Yeah, the first topic. We're going to get right into the second one here because we got to go. We got to fly. Dude, it's going to be such a long fucking stream. I can already tell. It's going to be a long stream, and I'm going to try to go to a quick clip here. Okay, next thing we got to talk about is Big Daddy Zack Snyder. Y'all see this shit? We'll make it quick. Don't worry. Yo, so I saw this shit. So now you guys have to see this shit. Zack Snyder says Henry Cavill is Superman in new Instagram post. Wow. So first reaction, chat. First reaction. How does this make you feel? Did you see this? Did it spark any feelings? Did the hair on your arm start to stand up? Oh shit. Here we go again. So a couple of different things here, We have to break this down. First of all, let's give it the context. Zach has just recently joined Instagram. For the longest time in the world, he only was on I think it's called Vero. And I'm not exactly sure why, but like he just like was just on Vero. Like that's just kind of what it was. So that's why he's posting on Instagram, just like in general. And that's also kind of like why it's a big deal that he's posting. And so if you look specifically at what he actually said, because as much as I would love to just let you all believe that all he said was this, dropped this photo with this caption, and then pieced the fuck out, because holy shit, would that be some gangster ass shit. That's actually not exactly what it is. So what he said was something to the effect of, thanks for all the support in coming to Instagram. Or it says like Henry Cavill is Superman, shot at this date on this lens, because he's a photographer. He's like a nerd about that kind of shit. And then it said something like, thanks for all the love, coming back to Instagram. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist. That's what it is. So the whole idea there is it's more like, hey, I am joining this platform. Here's this dope photo I took. This is a photo platform. Here's this dope photo that I took. Thanks for all the love over here, guys. Henry Cavill is Superman. I think that's more of like a caption of like the photo, because I mean, look at this photo. Holy shit. Like Henry Cavill is Superman in this photo. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so that's probably what the actual context is. However, on the other hand, right? Zach knows what he's doing, right? I mean, that's the other side of this, right? It's like, come on, though. Like, we could say, okay, yeah, he's just, he's just posting, it's just what it is. At the same time, Zach's pretty smart, man. And I think he knows, what making this post would do. Okay? Similar to the post he made on Superman Day being the quote from Jor-El, which I felt like was like a sort of, he was like referencing what he already knew Gunn was going to do with Jor-El. It's sort of, interesting choice there, Zach, a little subtext, perhaps. I mean, I think he's smart. So I guess the way you could say it is like, there's no way Zach posted this not knowing what would happen. Right? I mean, he has access to a lot of different photos. You know what I mean? Like, there's almost unlimited shit he could post. 300. Rebel Moon. Watchmen. You know what I mean? Like, there's almost... He's got a lot of photos. So, he knows what he's doing. Now, you could make the argument that he's just trying to get engagement, that he knows what it is, but he's just trying to get it to pop. He's growing his Instagram or whatever. At the same time, though, look at what's going on with the Ellison thing. Look what's going on with Paramount. Look what's going on with Warner Brothers. Look what's going on with the DCU. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, here's what I'll say. I'll say it like this. Zach, if you want me to let it go, if you want me to give it up, if it's really over, stop posting this. Don't why are you posting this? You know what I mean? Like, if you really want me to say, okay, yeah, no, it's over. Why are you posting this? Why are you posting this? The other thing I was thinking about, guys, this is kind of an extension of this. I'm just going to fucking yap. You know what I mean? It's a Friday. We're in here chilling. We're going to do some cool shit. We're going to talk about the Marvel stuff in a second. But can I just say something else, too? So, I've been thinking a lot about the Snyderverse, but also just fandom in general. Okay? Because, like, we really do live in this day and age where, like, fans really do just want their version. So whether it's Star Wars, we talk about George, and George is like, Disney bought it and turned it into their vision. That's his words, literally, just came out today. That's obviously what happened, right? Disney bought it and they turned it into their thing. Well, some people are like, I miss George's, or I just don't like Disney's version. I'd prefer something else. The Snyder thing is like, I prefer Snyder's actual vision as opposed to the corporate version of the Justice League, right? So, like, this is a thing that's out there, okay? And I'm going to just say it. with AI, like I'm just gonna throw it out there. Let's just have the conversation. Let's just be absolutely and 100% totally real about this. AI is about to make it possible, and it's not. I don't think it's possible right now. I don't think it's possible at this very moment. But I'm telling you right now that AI will, within the next either 6 months to a year, have the capacity to do unrecognizably different. Like it is unrecognizable to anything you want it to look like. Anything you want it to look like. Unrecognizable that it's AI. Meaning, like, think of it like this. Think of it like this, because I know like that is like there's all kinds of baggage with that idea. And the AI thing brings in all this baggage and all this like drama and all this like, people have issues with it. And I totally get that. Think of it instead like this. What's your favorite thing that you wish you still had? Maybe it's the original Power Rangers show. Maybe it's the old Gargoyle show. Maybe it's the old animated Spider-Man show from the 90s. Give me some other examples here. Halo 3. What if Halo was like it used to be? Okay, moments or versions of games that kind of nailed it back in the day. Yeah, Halo Reach. Good example. Earth's Mightiest Avengers. Legend of the Seeker. Robotech. Yeah, you know what? I'll throw a crazy one out there. The Emperor's New Groove. Modern Warfare 3. Dragon Ball. Thundercats. Okay. So right now, when we talk about a revitalization of one of these brands, there are all sorts of questions about how that will be handled. And essentially, most of the time these days, we understand that it is not going to be the same. X-Men 97 is maybe the closest we've seen. I mean, that feels like that old show. It's different, though. It feels updated in a lot of ways, too. But it really does feel like a continuation of that old show. But most of the time, it's different. It feels like a new thing, and that's because you have all sorts of humans, all sorts of hands, all sorts of vision, all kinds of different ideas from the humans that are creating the thing, and their fingerprints that go on it to make it a little bit different. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? So, what if you could get AI to make true to form extensions of things? Meaning, okay, the Snyderverse, right? So let's talk about the Zack Snyder's exact Snyderverse, okay? With AI, you could allow him to direct, edit, shoot, for all intents and purposes, although most of it would be digital, all the movies exactly the way you wanted to do, and have versions of those actors, which I know there are ethical concerns, but I'm just talking about the possibilities here. All of those actors in the exact form that they were when they shot those movies, flawlessly stepping in. No difference in fidelity whatsoever, and make a perfect, I'm talking about, you will not believe that it's AI. Like, what I'm saying is, you will not believe. You will have trouble believing. Like, you will have to see how the donuts are made to actually understand that it's not real. Okay? I think that that is a beautiful way to use that technology. It feels similar to me if you went and found some artwork from like a really famous painter that through time was tarnished and lost. Maybe even like burned down, okay? So imagine if you could take AI and find something from like the Library of Alexandria, and you could give the AI a little bit of it and truly create it as it once was. Like that feels to me like a similar thing where it's because again the ideas and the vision is human. It's coming from humans. The technology is merely stripping away, like the AI technology, in my opinion, is actually just stripping away the barriers to getting to what the human wants, the human vision for that thing, which is something that's in all of your minds, that thing that you want. The technology helps facilitate that. Right? So I think that like where we're at right now, there's like obviously a lot of people that have problems with it. And I think that like AI doesn't do itself any favors because a lot of it looks like shit. And it looks so uncanny. And I think it's enforcing all of the worst things that people think about it. But it's funny because like it kind of doesn't matter because that the tech is full steam ahead. It's not going to stop. And it's going to get to a point where it's indistinguishable. When it's truly indistinguishable, I do think people will start to like understand what it actually represents a little bit more. And some of the fear and, like dooming about it, I think will go away. But that's just my thoughts. That's just my thoughts on it. 30 months of nerd venging and looking forward to many, many more. Yeah. Community. Nerd vengeance for life. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. So, yeah, what do you guys think of this? What do you think? Do you think there's a chance the Snyder stuff is coming back? Would you want it to be done with AI? Are you still super AI? Are you still super mad about AI? Where are you guys at with this stuff? Halo Infinite is awesome right now. Okay, that's cool. I mean, Halo Infinite is a really interesting game because it came out and was the gameplay was so buttery. It felt like Halo was coming back, man. And then it just doesn't meet the expectations of like what I think modern gaming fans are, or their expectations, I guess. Another Snyder Cope stream, God willing, God willing, we have many more of those. I really don't want AI used for any of these properties. I mean, that's fine. I don't know what to do with that, because it's like, I don't even understand it. That's, to me, it's very difficult for me to like engage with that idea, right? Where it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay, like what do you want me to say? I mean, I appreciate it because I want to know where people are at with it, but I don't know how to engage that. Like, I just don't like it, Pass. If I wanted Snyder, I'd watch Snyder, not some version Justin came up with. But what if it's Zach that did it? That's what I'm saying. It's like Zach writes, edits, directs. All the tech does is make it, because here's the thing. Right now, why can't we restore the Snyderverse? Because Affleck's too old. All the actors have moved on. There are actual limitations of physical reality that have made it impossible. What I'm suggesting to you is those limitations are not as real as we think they are. I'm starting to dislike the stream now. Look, I'm going to tell you, Luz, I'm going to just tell you this right now. You are banned and blocked forever, and I genuinely hope you have a terrible day. So now you can like the stream the whole way. Now you don't have to start to like the stream. Now you can really hate the stream. Just skip the bullshit. Let's go right to the end of this. You're banned forever. Go fuck yourself. Have a terrible day. I can't wait for AI to get better. Imagine real creative writers and fans creating amazing superhero content without needing millions of dollars to create it. I actually think so. Like, that's such a good point, but I think it's like there's subtleties that I think a lot of people misunderstand. Okay, because it's not actually just that you're like that's a great idea, but I actually like want to double down on that because I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that because of the cost of making this stuff, it has a downwind effect of the controlling interest of the thing. Meaning, like, it's not just that it's going to make everything a lot cheaper. It's going to make everything a lot cheaper, and therefore there aren't as many suits there with their fingers in the pies. There's not as many partners and considerations of this brand, that brand, this, that, second, and the third. So it actually does, it does more than just make it cheaper. It makes it, it gives them more control over it. You know what I mean? So I think that's actually like a really important part of this, because I've heard so many stories of like, oh, well, we wanted to do this, or like we were trying to do this, but then this partner that had this huge brand thing was like not feeling it or whatever. Like, I've heard so many weird stories of like how the considerations of the people that actually spend the money affect how the thing is made, you know, from the investment level, but also just business partners and stuff. So yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's tough because I think AI, in some ways, AI is in a bubble. AI is absolutely in a bubble because, well, that's more of like a financial thing, actually. That has less to do with the technology. That has more to do with like just how stupid our casino Wall Street thing is, where like, if you can like raise money for a buyout, and the buyout pumps the stock so much that the money you raised, it like you're offsetting the cost of the debt you're taking on. Like, dude, there is some stupid shit going on right now with AI companies. But I think what underlies all of that behavior and why like it hasn't actually popped the bubble yet, or maybe it won't ever, is because it's obvious how much this is going to disrupt stuff, right? Like, it's just obvious how much this is going to disrupt stuff, you know, drive costs down. We're to a point where deflation might actually be an existential threat to our economy, as opposed to, you know, the money printing and the stuff that we've been doing with tightening and all that, right? So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And I think that a lot of people are trying to figure this out. Like, a lot of smart people are trying to figure this out. And, you know, there's obviously, like, consumers, I think, are somewhat tense about it. But ultimately, like, it's not going anywhere. Like, this is going to be the future. Like, I don't think the genie goes back in the bottle, basically. Anyways, chat. Let's leave it there. That was 18 minutes. I can't fucking believe it. How dare you guys let me yap about that shit for 18 minutes? Somebody has to stop me. No. We're going to be here forever. All right, we got to drop some of these topics. We can't drop that. We can't drop that. We can drop that. We can drop that. We can drop that. Okay, hang on. We're dropping topics. We're going to drop that. We're going to drop that. We're going to drop that. We can leave that. All right. I'm sorry. But yeah, the Snyderverse is getting restored, basically. Confirmed. 100% confirmed. Oh, also, too, chat, I wanted to show you this just because I think it's really funny. Did you guys see this? Did you see this photo? So, I have it on good authority that this is the Russos reacting to my reaction to the new Rockstar's breakdown of that photo they put out. So I have it on pretty good authority. Like, I don't want to say it's 100% confirmed, but I have it on pretty good authority that this photo was taken literally as they were watching my video breaking down new Rockstar's video of the photo that they dropped on social media. Crazy, dude. Like, we're just out here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. But like, we're just out here like that. You know, making moves. So that's a highlight for me. You know what I mean? Like, that is a highlight for me. I'm going to put it in a scrapbook later. Might even, well, you know. Anyway, okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Can we talk about fucking AMC? Dude, what the fuck is happening? This world. Why does this world keep doing stuff like this? Why does this keep happening? Okay. Oh man, okay, this one's kind of crazy, guys. This one's kind of crazy. Okay. Hang on. It's hang on one second. Hang on one second. Are you having a good time out there? Should we stop the news? Should we just get into the Marvel shit? Okay. This one's crazy. This one's crazy, chat. So, Netflix and AMC. Okay, this is Adam Aaron. Pretty famous CEO. This is a CEO of AMC. And remember, one of the big reasons that this guy is the stock. Glitching again. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe we just go into the... And it still feels glitchy. Dude, what the fuck is going on? You know what I think it is? I think 4K videos just take up a shit ton of room. And I think recording like multiple 20-minute 4K videos is just clogging up all my shit. I need unlimited storage. I need unlimited storage. I need unlimited power. Fuck. Why are you recording in 4K? Because I want to. Is it still glitchy? Honestly, 1440 is all you need, baby. Hey, thanks. But no, I want to upload the clips in 4K, so... Thanks, though. I guess I'll just need to get unlimited storage. Do you guys know about unlimited storage? I need some. Dude, Josh Snyder just posted a Warhammer pic. That's pretty good bait. Pretty good bait. Pretty good. It's proof you need to love ranch. Get out of here. 4K is a little too close for comfort. Sorry, guys. You know, I tried to shave a little. I tried to become a little more presentable for you guys. I'm happy with your performance. Thanks, bud. You're no longer lag and wagging. Okay, cool. No more lag and wagging. Okay, chat. Let's do this. Let's do this shit. We're gonna skip the news. Let me TLDR it. Because like this does kind of suck. Because I wanted to talk about all this shit. Fuck. Let me just can I very quickly TLDR on the news? Just real quick TLDR. AMC and Netflix end year-long blood feud. These two companies would not work together at all. And it was kind of wild because even the shit that happened with K-pop Demon Hunter, AMC was not a part of that because of this blood feud. So they had a meeting. First time in years, they had a meeting. The two CEOs, they have a strategic partnership. AMC is re-releasing K-pop Demon Hunter into theaters for like 200 theaters in a weekend. And it's pretty fucking crazy. Adam Aaron is going to fuck it up because he's a piece of shit. I don't really have a strong opinion on him either way. I haven't been following it closely enough to like really form an opinion on him. I will say, though, that I think AMC has been a lot of hype and not a lot of substance since the meme stock era. And I do, as much as the meme stock thing is fun, I do wish the fundamentals of that business were stronger. And but they did raise a lot of money. So there's always been this sort of promise of like, oh, AMC, you have all this money. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, hey, hopefully something happens. I also know that Netflix is doing their own theaters, which is kind of wild. They've been doing it for years, but it seems that they're putting up more and more. As this industry changes, I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but that is a big deal, guys. So we're going to keep an eye on that. AMC and Netflix Dragon Ball this Sunday, guys. Real quick. I'm flying through this, and then we're going into the tier list, okay? Dragon Ball on Sunday. Major announcements for Dragon Ball this Sunday. Big 40th year anniversary panel. Expect huge announcements. Rumor right now, multiple new animated projects. Maybe a big anime and maybe a side anime thing. Maybe even video games, movies. Big announcements for Dragon Ball. Incredible. And the fact that anime rather is making such a splash these days, Demon Slayer's killing it. Dragon Ball is the original. It's the original evergreen. It was the one that broke anime into the West and put anime on the map in a lot of different ways. So Dragon Ball has to be a part of this renaissance. Dragon Ball has to be a part of this anime takeover of Hollywood. And I think that all begins this Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. We'll talk about that on Monday. Doomsday shooting again, maybe confirmed, maybe not. So a lot of photos going around of gifts given to the crew. And remember, we went over a story yesterday or maybe the day before with John or with James Mack saying that Teyana Paris is on set, that they're filming Doomsday again. And then some photos started circulating of like actual gifts given to the crew that are showing up. I'm not sure. They could be back. It's a little unclear even right now if they are actually back. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep following along on that. George talks Star Wars. George Lucas opening his big museum, doing a lot of press to promote that and just talk about life and whatnot. Big interview out there talking about Star Wars. Basically says that Disney bought it and turned it into Disney Star Wars. And of course, he's moved on. Magic the Gathering failure. Real quick, TLDR on this, guys. We talked about the Magic the Gathering Spider-Man collaboration several different times over the past couple of months. Something that was on my radar. Something that I was pretty excited about, and they botched it. They really fucked it up. A lot of stuff has come out about why that happened. It was a mini set, 80 cards, and then they bumped it up to a main set. And the reason it has so many like really stupid cards of like Peter Parker's camera and like Aunt May's walking stick and like stupid shit like that is because they didn't want to go through Marvel approval. So they did cards, like a lot of cards that didn't technically have Marvel characters on them. No artwork. So you could just get it approved quickly and bolster that set from an 80 card set to like 200 or 300 cards. It's terrible. Everybody snuffed it out early. It's a terrible set. Wizards of the Coast recently put out some surveys to different people that bought the cards, trying to figure out what has happened. And one of the questions on the survey that's really weird is like, how much did content creators influence the negativity you feel towards this set? And which content creators did this? And of course, that's blowing up right now because everybody's like, oh, they literally want people to tell on content creators and they're looking for people to blame for this set. The reality is Wizards sucks ass. That set was lazy. It was corporate laziness. They cut corners and did a bunch of bullshit. The product is half-baked and it's terrible. That's why it is failing. Content creators pointed that out and of course helped the message get out there about that, but it's terrible. And so, look, I was going to go into a whole thing about this because it's sad, man. Marvel and Star Wars or Marvel and Magic are in a similar situation. Wizards and Disney, they have really hurt the relationship with their core audience. And they tend to nowadays go outside of their core audience with influencers to try to kind of like get around that. So one of the things I noticed was a lot of Marvel influencers and a lot of just more entertainment-based influencers were approached by Marvel to do collaborations with the Spider-Man set. And that's because they don't really follow Magic that closely. They don't know the drama. They don't know why the community has completely turned against this. And it reminds me of a story that happened around the 30th anniversary Black Lotus reprint thing. Deep cut thing here, but just walk with me on this. So there was a guy that did like videos of like collecting, you know, really old coin collecting and shit like that. Or I think, I could be getting this wrong, but essentially not a card collecting content creator. And Wizards of the Coast gave that person a 30th anniversary Black Lotus thing, which was this thing that was maligned by the community. People fucking hated this. It was one of the most hated, stupidest thing Wizards had ever done in the history of their company. But they still wanted influencers to talk about it, so they went outside of the bubble of actual influencers that cover their space and went to this other guy that was tangentially, associated because he collects coins, something like that. This poor guy got all kinds of harassment, and that community freaked out on him because he was a useful idiot for Wizards of the Coast in a lot of ways. And you had a similar thing happen with the Spider-Man set and a lot of MCU content creators and a lot of people like that. Look, everybody's free to make their own choices as a content creator, and you represent your own brand and everything, but the reality is it's not a good look, and it's also not their fault. Wizards is actually just making it all worse because they're going with these people that, again, are not paying close enough attention to understand that this is a maligned product. And they're out there supporting it and boosting it, and everybody just looks bad. Everybody just looks bad. So I wanted to talk about that because it's another example of like really stupid corporations that handle IP that we love. So anyway, that's all the shit. Any questions? Let's get into the TL. Let's get into the other stuff. So chat, I need your help. Okay, it's not often that I ask for your help, but today I'm going to ask for your help. Oh, let me quickly see Dub's video here. $10 Drinker just dropped a new video, Crash and Burn the Takeaway Theater Story. Could be fun, watch, and feel good Friday, Nerd Vengeful Flight. Appreciate you, brother. Not going to watch that, though. Okay, so here's what I need help with. Obviously, we're not going to go over every single character that occupies the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay? But there's actually a lot of like what I would call main players and supporting players. So main cast and supporting cast, okay? So I will tell you the list I currently have, and I want you to help me out and see if there's anything that I missed. Because before we finalize this thing, I need to know all the characters that are in here, okay? So here's the characters. Pay attention, chat. Ahsoka says, "Hey, Josh, how are you doing today? Just want to say one thing. Thank you for everything." Oh, thanks. Thank you very much, Ahsoka. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Okay, here's who I have right here, okay? Kang. Technically still a big character until we know what they're doing, right? I would say Wiccan, but I'm really saying like Wiccan and his brother, okay? And really, that whole thing. Doctor Doom. Who we know like next to nothing about. But we're still going to put him on the list. Doctor Strange, Wanda, Vision, Ant-Man. And when I say Ant-Man, I'm talking about Ant-Man, but also the Ant-Man family. So like I'm just throwing out, when I address Ant-Man, I will address like what I think Marvel should do with all the Ant-Man characters, okay? The new Guardians of the Galaxy, that's like the group that you see at the end. They're running at the end of Guardians 3. Star-Lord, who I'm considering different and I'm going to talk about on his own. Black Panther, not Shuri, but Black Panther, and we're going to talk about that. Thor, Iron Man, because I think we actually do have to have a conversation about Iron Man. Feige himself said that Iron Man could be potentially recast, so we got to talk about that. America Chavez, Shuri, Steve Rogers, Nick Fury, Valentina, Loki, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, the Red Scarab lady from Moon Knight, even though she's a really minor character, we all know where we're going with that. I felt like I had to put her on the list for a very important reason. Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, the Fantastic Four, like we'll just talk about all of them when we talk about them. The Thunderbolts, we'll talk about all of them. I have Bucky on the list on his own, but I want to talk about that whole group like that's one like individual thing, okay? Sam Wilson, Captain America. Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, or Clint Barton. Kate Bishop. She-Hulk. Bucky. Professor Hulk. Spider-Man. And Ironheart. Those are the main characters that I have so far. Who are the other characters that I should put on this list? And just so you know, the tiers of this list, okay, we're breaking this down. This is ranking the MCU characters worth keeping in the reboot. Okay, and we've got 5 different tiers. Highest tier is keep as is. Next up is keep but change. Next up is keep and change a lot. Next up is delete. And then the final one is delete forever, everywhere. Meaning it's over, stop trying to make fetch happen, delete this character from your comics, from your video games, from your movies, from your shows. Delete this character, act like, don't ever bring this character up. Okay, so those are the tiers. We're going to rank all of the Marvel characters based on this. Should we keep them as is? Should we keep them but change them? Should we keep them and change them a lot? Should we delete them? And then should we delete them from everything? Okay, what other characters am I missing here? Punisher. Good call. Let's get Punisher on here. And I'm going to have to delete this. And we'll go Punisher. Good one. Good pick. Gotta talk about Frank. Who else? Deadpool. Okay. Yeah, I guess we have to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. That's actually fair. That's fair. And then we'll throw Wolverine in there. All right, guys. Who else? Nick Fury. I already got it. Eternals. Okay, let's do Eternals. Fair. Let's do Eternals. We'll do them all as like one. Kind of like what we're doing with the other ones. Find a good photo here. Sorry. Here we go. Perfect. All right, who else? Doc Strange got him. Werewolf by Night. I don't think Werewolf by Night is... Okay, I'll put Werewolf by Night in. I'll put Werewolf by Night. The whole show. But, like, we like that show. You know what I mean? Like, they were good, and Swamp Thing's awesome. All right, who else? Defenders. Well, technically, they're not in the MCU right now. Ultron. I mean, I guess Ultron technically is coming back, but I don't... That's not... I'm going for the, like, protagonists. Gambit? Nope. Echo, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Gaia, and Agatha. Let's go Agatha. That's a good one. We'll go, like, Agatha and Death. We'll talk about, like, Agatha and Death together. And then Echo, but Echo's so minor. Although she did get her own show, so it's like hard for me to say that. Isn't that so weird? Let's put Echo on there. I think that's fair, actually. I mean, the answer's pretty simple. It's almost, you know, and also, too, I will say, as I was coming up with this list, it really shows you the problem with Marvel. Because I was like, who even are the main characters right now? You know, like, I was literally, like, struggling. I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. Lizzie Olsen is S tier. That's true. Defenders going forward will probably be Doc Strange, Hulk, Surfer, Namor. Good call. Yeah, Namor. Yeah. Okay, any other major players? Thanos can be in the reboot. Thank you, Nerd King, but I want to stick with protagonists here. We'll talk villains later. The Hand, Goku, good one. Moon Knight, already got him. Black Panther, got it. Ooh, yeah, Rhodey. War Machine's great. Yeah, War Machine. Let's talk about that. That's a good one. While I was going over this, guys, I actually came up with some really interesting thoughts, man. Some really interesting hot takes. I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised at some of what I have to say today. Gaia, sure, 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 sure. I honestly still can't. I kind of can't believe this is even real. I mean, if they were ever going to Batgirl something, you know, like if they were ever going to Batgirl something, man. Wow. Daredevil? Okay, Daredevil, fair. That's fair. All right, is that She-Hulk? Got it. Yep. Elektra? Nah, too minor, too minor. Captain Marvel got her own movie twice. That's true. Iron Fist. It's not necessarily a bad pick, but let's just I don't think we need to do Iron Fist because Iron Fist is like he's not in the MCU. I'm trying to make a point of like this is our current cast. Obviously things haven't been going well. Part of why I have Loki on here. Part of the whole thing of the reboot is fixing this. That's the whole point. So let's talk about the characters that we have, talk about which ones need to go, which ones need to change, which ones are salvageable, you know what I mean? And which ones are actually fine, exactly the way that they are, you know? So let me get this set up here. And by the way, I'll share the link for you guys because I'm going to make this a public tier list so that you can all participate in this. So if you all want to do this real quick, any other characters? Once I do this, I have the Eternals in there. Photon. Who's Photon? You talking about Monica Rambeau? Are you talking about Monica Rambeau? Shang-Chi? I have Shang-Chi in here. Ned? No, man. No. Ironheart? Got it. Wongers? No, Wong stays. Den of Mist Super Chat. Smack my head. Sorry, Cool Bear. I'll get to it later, bud. We're flowing. Or just throw it into the chat right now. Wonder Man? Hell no. Red Hulk? Okay, I'll put Red Hulk on there. That's actually fair. Okay. What else, guys? Valkyrie? I guess so. I guess they did make her a main character. You know? Kind of on them. Okay. Thunderbolt's got him. Abomination? No, Abomination 2's he's also a villain. The Wasp girl? I'll talk about Wasp, yep. Hawkeye's daughter. We're getting pretty obscure there, guys. Hawkeye's daughter. Hawkeye's daughter. Okay. All right. Let's just get into it. Okay, let me create this. I'm going to finalize it there, okay? This is plenty, guys. We're going to be here for like hours, and I hate it. I mean, it's going to be so fun. All right, I submitted it. Should take a second. Hopefully it's all gravy, baby. Oh, shit. Here we go. All right, how can I share this? How do I share it? Maybe I'll do it first and then share it. Oh, I can share it on Twitter. Okay. Are we ready? Should I go use the bathroom before this? I feel like we're in it, man. I feel like this is gonna be wild. And I'll move myself a little bit over here. Oh, chat, are we ready? Should we grab some snacks, maybe do some stretching? I don't know. This seems like a big deal. Seems like a big deal here. I don't know. Get some ranch? Mobius? No, no. Okay, this is what we got. This is what we're working with here. Let's get into this. Marvel Studios MCU reboot. Who should get deleted? Who should get deleted? Who should stay? Okay, so here's what we're looking at here, guys. We have keep as is. If a character lands in this category, it's basically like they're kind of like an S tier current Marvel character. They don't need changed at all. They can persist as they already exist in the MCU reboot. If a character goes in the second category, it means we keep them, but they have to change. So we have to make some changes, some adjustments to the character. Then there's keep and change a lot. Certain characters here probably want to keep them, but they need changed a lot. Maybe even recast. That's where we'll put the recast of characters in that category there. Next up, there'll be characters that need to be deleted. They should not exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They don't need change. They need deleted. And then the worst category, absolute lowest you could get on this list, is you should delete forever everywhere, meaning you no longer exist at Marvel Studios, and I don't ever want to see any merch. I don't want to see you published. I don't want to see you in comic books. I don't want to see anybody that works at Marvel Studios ever mentioning your name again. Okay, let's go. Let's get into it. I'll tell you what, let's just start from the top. Let's start here with Mr. Red Hulk. Interested, by the way, very interested in what you guys think about this, chat. So please just keep telling me your thoughts as we go through this. But I'm going to say that Red Hulk needs kept, and I'm going to say he needs changed, okay? So it's kind of a weird one because Red Hulk is kind of one of the best parts of Captain America Brave New World. Captain America Brave New World, obviously, pretty goobly glob movie. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is like it has cool Red Hulk shit, and the Red Hulk stuff was fun. Now there are rumors, chat, that Red Hulk might get some love in Avengers Doomsday, okay, which would be really interesting. I wonder what that would be like. I wonder if they figured out a way to shoot that with Harrison Ford. One would have to imagine Harrison Ford's pretty expensive, right? At the same time, if he's willing to come, get paid a couple million to shoot mocap for a couple of weeks, and you're gonna actually use Harrison Ford Red Hulk, and the model's like dope and it's easy to do, I would say keep him, but you do have to change him. Okay, he has to become, ironically, a little bit more like Smart Hulk. Red Hulk in the comics actually doesn't become as savage. I mean, he can definitely rage out, but when he gets mad, he gets hotter, not more powerful. Technically, I guess that makes him more powerful because he can literally like melt through shit and he's like on fire and it's like really crazy. But he's not like Bruce. Like, he doesn't just get infinitely mad and then infinitely powerful. That's not what happens, okay? And also, Red Hulk is usually in complete control when he is in Hulk form. So it's really like Thaddeus in Hulk form. Okay? So what I would say is this. If you change him like that, which could be fun. If you're willing to use him, if Harrison's willing to play ball, then utilize him. Otherwise, maybe it's change a lot. And what I really mean is like recast. But that's kind of what I think. What do you guys think? A lot of people are saying recast him. He can borrow my stash, says Tom Selleck. Hell yeah. Maybe he was so savage because it was his first time. Yes, that is true. Or possible. And they could adjust it from there. Yeah. Yeah. Some people are saying recast. Yeah. Well, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, keep but change. Recast with a younger, cheaper actor who can play him longer. Yeah, I think that's the big concern. It's funny, man. It's like we just want more Red Hulk, actually. Marvel, like, you know, I actually think there's a ton of lessons here for Marvel if they would pay attention to some of the things we're going to say today. But really, like, the biggest thing you screwed up was we wanted more Red Hulk, like less of like Harrison Ford trying to make that plot work and just like do the Red Hulk thing and smash. So maybe they could find a way to make this really easy for Harrison moving forward. That's kind of my thing. Okay, next up, She-Hulk, man. Yo, She-Hulk, I know, I can already tell we're going to have so many hot takes about She-Hulk. So many things going on about She-Hulk. Chat, what do you guys think about She-Hulk? What do you guys think about She-Hulk, man? Let's get into this conversation. Somebody says keep but change. Delete forever. Delete. Delete. Could work but change. Delete forever and ever. Terrible. Keep but change. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. Keep and change a lot. Okay, now I'm actually not saying we have to go as far as recasting. Okay. But I think here's like the good and bad of She-Hulk. Okay, really. The good is because she can fourth wall break and whatever, you can be self-referential with how poorly received her first season was. You can even literally like, and look, I'm going to just be honest with you. Some of the more like, I don't know, feminist sided thinking women among you might not like some of the things I'm about to say. Okay. But I mean, let's be honest. That's probably true of almost everything I say. If She-Hulk, if Tatiana Maslany was willing to break the fourth wall, look into the camera and say something like, I'm sorry, dude bros. And now I'm going to be nicer and maybe even show a little more ass. And then turn away from the camera, like dead ass. I'm not joking, but I'm kind of like not joking. If we're willing to do something like that, I'm not even kidding. We're all gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like seriously, the chuds are actually pretty forgiving, and I wish this was something Hollywood would understand more. They dead ass they're actually not even gonna be super rude about it. Like some people will, but like kind of just be chill about it for real. Like, you know, I'm sorry. I think you can even have her protest. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you could actually I would have a lot of fun with this. You know what I mean? Like you guys know my sense of humor. If I were to write She-Hulk season 2, it would be very funny. We would all have a lot of laughs, you know? And by the way I would write She-Hulk is that she's actually really frustrated that she has to capitulate to the dude bros. Like she's actually like legitimately not happy about it, which maybe Tatiana could get on board and be like, okay, I could have fun with this. Like I could get it. But we're going to be playful and we are going to capitulate to the male gaze. And there could even be like an executive that says that. And she's like really fucking mad about it. Like I'm actually saying that that's what I would do. So they're obviously not going to go that far. Okay. They're not going to go that far. But the point I'm making is there's still a lot of ways to have fun with this. And I think because she's a fourth wall breaking character, there's a lot of ways to rehabilitate. So that's what I would say on that one. Okay. Now let's talk about Kate Bishop, chat. What do you guys think about Kate Bishop? Benjamin says Green Goblin S-Tear. Okay, but thank you. What do you guys think of Kate Bishop here? People saying keep. People saying keep but change. Some people saying keep as is. Yeah. I am going to say keep as is, actually, which might sound crazy because the Hawkeye show to me, I think is a massive fumble, and she is a part of why that was a failure. She's not the full story. But hear me out on this. The problems of the Hawkeye show and the problems of Phase 4 are what hurt this character. This character did not actually add to a lot of those problems. she was written in a more interesting way. She is more viscerally connected to the actual Avengers because of the flashback and her living in New York and watching the things fall. There is more comic book fan appreciation for the character because this Matt Fraction run was very good. So we appreciate the character of Kate Bishop because what she comes from was a truly inspired. I mean, that's not when she was invented, at least I don't think, but like that run was seminal. And therefore, a lot of comic book fans actually like kind of like give her the nod. Like they appreciate the character. So I think Kate Bishop stays as is. If a lot of stuff around her changes, Kate can exist and be awesome. She has the ability to be something close to what Scarlett Johansson was in the Infinity Saga. She has a chance to be... she fits well, I think, within the dynamic and within everything that is going on. So that's my take on that, okay? Let's talk about Valkyrie, man. Let's talk about Valkyrie, guys. What do you think about Valkyrie? Keep Kate away from Miss Marvel. Yeah. Hawkeye show was solid. Well, you know, different strokes, different folks, man. I was really disappointed in it. It had some good episodes, though. I liked that third episode a lot. The one with the car chase. That was a very good episode. Valk is the worst. Bye-bye. Delete forever. Get her out of here. Man, I feel like Tessa Thompson, I don't even know that she's done much. Like, I don't think Tessa Thompson's out there saying anything crazy. She's not out there like doing a Brie Larson. And yet I do kind of get the sense that like her stock has kind of fallen and people don't fucks with her the same way. And I'm not really sure why. Maybe she was just overexposed. Maybe she showed up in like so many different projects. I don't really know why. Her character, I think, is not great. Valkyrie was very interesting. And then they tried to make her into like, I got my shit together, I'm girl boss, and I'm now going to lecture Thor. And that sucks because she was actually pretty chill when she was literally just some drunk party girl that was running away from her pain. Why do they do this? Like, why do they do this? I don't understand it. She doesn't need to be a leader. It's so stupid. So Valkyrie needs changed a lot. I mean, I'm very close to saying delete. But I kind of like her so much from Ragnarok that I'm almost like, let's keep and change a lot. And here's the other thing I'll say about this. I think the structure of Asgard and what they're doing might change. Maybe they would keep Asgard on the planet and maybe they'll keep her as the king and the leader. But I sort of get the feeling, this is a little bit of spoilers for when we get to Thor and Loki, but I sort of get the feeling that recasts are coming for the Asgard boys. So if recasts are coming for the Asgard boys, that kind of makes me think Asgard itself might be recontextualized for the reset, which means maybe we pull back on Valkyrie. So what that means is maybe Valkyrie goes or Valkyrie stays, but has changed a lot. She's no longer the leader. I would revert her back to her old form because she was way more fun. Yeah, that's what I would say about the Valkyrie character. Thoughts on that, chat? What do you think? Is that fair? That's why drunk Supergirl? Yep, I agree. Replaced with Hawkeye's daughter and instead cast Haley Steinfeld as Spider-Gwen in live action. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I can't say that would be bad. Keep, but change. No recast. Fair. I still like Tessa. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, don't you agree her stock's just kind of like fallen? I don't really fully understand it. Could just be a fatigue thing. Am I misremembering, or did they hit at a relationship between her and Captain Marvel? They did hint at it, yeah. Give her a show where she chooses alcoholism over politics. Yeah, that could be funny. Yeah. Tessa is cool, character is mid. Yeah, they really took that character in a bad direction, huh? Wow, what a silly... They're just so silly. Some of the things they do are so silly. Okay, speaking of silly, Miss Marvel, chat. Miss Marvel. What do you think? Miss Marvel. Delete! Keep but change. Delete forever. Keep her, says Expo City with all caps. Damn, Expo City. Change a lot. Keep but change. She gone. Marvel said they were keeping Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Oh, damn. Real note. But wait, what? Delete. Just delete. Dang, a lot of mixed opinions here. Okay, so look, again, I would have to say, I wish Marvel would at least take a look at what's going on and understand that this is not going well. And trying to make fetch happen is turning a lot of people off from Kamala Khan. And so they can keep her, but they should change her a lot. I mean, frankly, I think they should revert her powers back to what they normally were. I don't think you need a recast, because Amon's cool and she's charming, and there's moments where she can bring a fierceness too. Like, but Amon is also not like a great actor. Like I think we also have to be fair. Her show underperformed, the movie bombed, and she's okay. Like, I like her a lot as a person, but she's never blown me away as a performer, right? Maybe that's okay, and she can grow as an actress. But man, I just feel like where they're going right now, it's such a bad look, and I think there's a lot of danger in people just being incredibly turned off by her. You know, one of the things too, if we take a step back from the whole conversation, chat, take a step back from the whole conversation. We are about to watch two big Avengers movies where a lot of these very characters are going to get a lot of shine, hopefully. So a lot of what we're about to talk about today, it's just based off of where we're currently at, but we sort of hope that Doomsday and Secret Wars does a lot of heavy lifting with these characters so that maybe we want some of them to stick around. That is true of all of them. It is potentially true of what's going on with Miss Marvel. But man, I got to tell you, I hate what they're trying to do with Miss Marvel. I don't hate the character of Miss Marvel, although I have to be honest, never been a big fan. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a 12-year-old girl. So Miss Marvel just never, like, really was something I was attracted to. And I thought a lot of the stuff that she was put in as far as Champions was goobly glob. Some of the A. Willow Wilson stuff is okay, but it's just not for me. Like, I've never been, like, attracted to that character. I've never, like, been, okay, let's read this character, right? So this pushing has felt really artificial, really out of touch. I think her powers are silly. All the projects she's been in have bombed. It's just a bad look. They need to change her. We need to wake up after Secret Wars. And Kamala Khan is like completely different. Meaning, abandon the current track you are on with this character. X-Men, hard light, bullshit powers, bangles. Abandon that and rebuild her. Rebuild her. That's my advice. What do you think about that, chat? Seconds from Disaster says, I say keep most of the actors, but change the whole feel of the MCU. There's so much potential to be sick if they drop a lot of goofy and be more serious. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Tone should be more serious. I thought her show was good. I thought her show started incredibly strong, and it dissolved in a way that was so bad. I felt like it fell apart. By the end of it, it was goobly glob, CGI fest fight bullshit at the end, like it always is. I feel like, you know, there was some promise in the time traveling episode, and then it goes nowhere. They have no idea what to do with it. I thought the show was genuinely terrible, but there was some really good stuff. Like, so I can't sit here and say it was all bad, but like, dude, here's the problem with like a lot of the Disney stuff, because as I was going, it's not just Miss Marvel. We're going to talk about Moon Knight in a little bit too, because like I was thinking about Moon Knight, and I bet a lot of people will have that same thing when we get to Moon Knight. People will say, I thought Moon Knight was really good. Like dead ass. Like there's going to be people that say that and have that opinion. And it's just like, okay, that's fine. But here's what I would say. Moon Knight is so bad, dude. It's so bad. When you compare it to what it could have been, if you take that concept, that character, and Oscar Isaac is an incredible actor, and you give like Noah Hawley that show, somebody that actually knows how to make fucking television and like actually was seen through as a show, we could have got something generational. So I can't act like the Disney Plus stuff was anything other than awful, because it was. As far as I'm concerned, it was. There are moments that are promising. Like we talked about Hawkeye. That third episode was great. Dude. No. Like, these shows are goobly glob, dude. None of them get there. Even Loki. Like, what are the best shows? Loki's probably one of the best. X-Men 97 is without a doubt the best thing that they've ever made on television. WandaVision was decent. What other shows? Even Loki, guys, is like a really strong first episode and a pretty weak half of a second episode. And then the original showrunner's ending is executed on, and it's actually really good. Like, the guy that wrote the show Bible, they execute on that, and it's brilliant. Michael Waldron. That's what Loki really is. Agatha was pretty good. Yeah. But, like, my point is, guys, we are living in a world where, like, we know for sure, because they've admitted it, Marvel Studios themselves have admitted it, Bob Iger's talked about it, we've heard the reports in the Wall Street Journal, we know exactly what it is. They didn't know how to make television. They didn't have showrunners. They didn't know how to make television. So understand, if you're going to sit here and be like, I thought that show was really good, that's fine. And I'm not going to sit here and say you're not allowed to have that opinion. But understand that, like, as far as the classroom is concerned, these shows were bad. That's part of why we are at the place we're at. Part of why we're even rebooting is because this shit didn't work. Okay? So I'm not trying to be rude. But, like, that energy, right? That whole, like, I thought it was incredible. Guys, please. We're trying to have an adult conversation here. You know, please. Please. Shut up. All right. Vision. Let's talk about Vision. What do you guys think of Vision? Vision. What do you think of Vision? Keep. Yeah, a lot of people saying keep. I tend to agree. I don't really care about Vision. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this. Like, dude, I don't really care about Vision. Do you guys care about Vision? I don't hate him. You know what I mean? Like, he's said a couple cool lines. He's actually kind of fun in some of the movies and stuff. But, like, I don't care about him at all. Like, if they deleted him forever, I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? If they recast him, I wouldn't care. Like, I was, like, thinking about this. I like Paul Bettany a lot. I think Paul Bettany's incredible. But, like, I just think, like, I just don't care about Vision, man. I just don't care about Vision. But I will say this. They haven't fucked him up. You know what I mean? So credit where credit is due. They did not fuck him up. So I say keep Vision as is. Yeah. And they're going to do a Vision show, so they're going to explain all of that. Some people are like, we care. Some people probably care about Vision. In fact, I'm kind of interested in this, man. Let's go to the polls on this. Do you guys care about Vision? I don't know why I don't care about Vision, but I know that I don't. Do y'all care about Vision? That's what I want to know. You will pay the price for your apparent lack of vision. All right, let's talk Ant-Man, chat. Let's talk Ant-Man while you're voting in the poll. Let's talk Ant-Man. So what are we thinking about Ant-Man, guys? I gotta say, I think Paul Rudd will have a fairly important role in these next two films. But ironically, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say delete. I gotta say, and I know this sounds crazy. This is probably not going the way that some of you thought this was going to go, okay? But I don't think we need Ant-Man anymore. I don't. And I think the Ant family, nope. Don't need that either. In fact, in the reset, why not have Hank Pym be Ant-Man? And have him be off doing some adventures or something. Like not on any screen. Oh, some people are saying keep. I'm just telling you, like I'm just saying, I honestly think maybe Ant-Man is given a heroic death, and then we're done with Ant-Man for a while. Like legit, we go forward. There's no Ant-Man. What changes? Like, you think we're going to be in the X-Men movie and, like, one of the people on TV is going to be like, man, nobody's heard from that Scott Lang podcast in a couple of weeks. No, nobody gives a shit. Like, I think Ant-Man can go. I think Ant-Man can go. We had some good times. And I like Paul Rudd, and I think we're going to get some fun with Paul Rudd. But yeah, I think he goes. I think he goes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Chat. What are your thoughts? This one's pretty contentious, huh? What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? Oh, man. Delete forever, delete. Oh, my God. You guys. Oh, my. Remember when Brie Larson was like, I don't know, does anybody even want me to do the next one? Does anybody even want me to come back? It's because of people like you, chat. God, you guys are so mean. You know, what did Brie Larson do other than be a complete and total narcissist on the biggest stage ever for literally the biggest movie ever? You guys are so mean, dude. But yeah, no, deadass, delete. But here's the thing. No, not delete. So we're going to put her into keep and change a lot. And here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I actually think they should do, guys. Okay. She has a heroic death in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. Okay. And then Monica Rambeau becomes Captain Marvel. Deadass. Just do it. The full circle thing. Carol sacrifices herself. Crazy big sacrifice in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. And Monica Rambeau, respectfully, is Miss Marvel. Yup. And some of you are like, no, I don't like it. No, the race bends. No. She was Captain Marvel first in the comics. Did you know that? Yup. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Actually, I'm not sure that she was actually Captain Marvel first, but I know she did become Captain Marvel in the comics at some point. Or maybe it was her mom. Who cares? I'm right, you're wrong. She's the new Captain Marvel. And then maybe, you know, on the next reboot, we totally recast and reset. And then you could do Carol Danvers again. Which, by the way, you know what you could do, chat? You could actually do both. Oh, shit. Okay, you could actually do both. Now, this could get really crazy. Okay, walk with me on this. Okay? Monica Rambeau becomes Captain Marvel. And she's the actual hero on the Avengers, okay? But then Carol Danvers is a new young military recruit, and we recast her, and eventually she gets the powers from Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, mirroring what happens with Marvel and Carol in the comic books. There we go. We did it. We cooked. We figured it out. That's the way to do it. All right, let's quickly talk about Swamp Thing here and Werewolf by Night. Keep as is, man. Maybe one of the best. They're great. They're fucking great. The shame is we don't got more of them. They're absolutely incredible. Not much else that needs to be said there. Keep them and just like give them something to do. Like the fact that these characters aren't getting more to do and you're trying to push all these characters on us is criminal. Like literally, criminal charges should be pressed. Okay, let's talk about Namor though. What do you guys think of Namor? No cares allowed. What do you guys think of Namor? Yee. Keep, change, keep and change, keep as is, keep and change, keep, cringe. Recast with real Namor. So here's what I would say. I actually like this dude for Namor, okay? But what I guess I'm kind of torn between change a lot and change. Because Namor is too much of a puss in Wakanda Forever. It's funny because they walk this line of like, oh, he's going to murder. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Disney is like so crazy. They literally have him murder T'Challa's mom. Right? And then say in front of Shuri, this shit happened, bury your dead, we'll be back or some shit. You know what I mean? And yet then he's also like this sort of soft love Disney princess. Like they didn't cast somebody that's like super jacked. He almost has like this effeminate quality. And there's this weird, almost submission to the female Black Panther at the end and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's weird. Like they're just so weird. Like maybe the bad guy could be just this overly masculine, terrible, fucking crazy, badass bad guy. You know what I mean? Like maybe Namor can be like, I mean, dare I say it, like chauvinistic, you know what I mean? Like maybe Namor can be toxic. In fact, I would argue if you were to tell me one word, if you were like, hey, describe Namor in one word, toxic is a pretty good word. So I feel like Namor needs changed, but at the same time, I kind of like the guy. Like I kind of like the performance. He has an intensity to him. I think he's a good performer. So I would say keep, but change. Make him a little less puss. Maybe even get the dude jacked. Make his outfit not look as silly. Let's dude bro code him up a little bit, and then I think we're good. That's my take. Okay. Next up, we got to talk about Sam Wilson, Captain America, but I'm going to grab Steve Rogers too. Where's he at? Because I think we actually need to talk about both of these. Now, this is a huge point of contention. This is an elephant in the room. So let's talk about the Captain America problem, and let's start with Sam Wilson, Captain America. Now, one thing I want to say about this is just like we've said with some of these other characters. Right now, given what we have, they suck. But Sam is going to get the Russo brothers treatment. He's probably going to be a pretty big part of Doomsday, maybe even a big part of Secret Wars. We'll see, right? So just like a lot of these other characters, we're kind of waiting to see like what does that rehabilitation look like, okay? But at the same time, man, Sam Wilson, Captain America, and I think Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson as Captain America is not working. That's all you got to say. Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson as Captain America is not working, okay? So what do you do? What's the problem? Well, I think Marvel has really put themselves into a difficult scenario here, okay? But I think there is a way forward. There's definitely something that I know how I would handle it. I'm curious as to how Disney ends up handling it, okay? The reality is, guys, Disney probably keeps as is Sam Wilson, I would expect that Sam will be Captain America after Avengers Secret Wars. When we get back into it, I think he'll be Captain America. Now, there's a chance that Steve Rogers will also be Captain America, which sounds ridiculous. But the comics are an example of Marvel trying this. So over the past couple of years, Marvel has tried this as well, because Marvel also Comics has also realized that Sam Wilson Captain America just doesn't sell. So they've tried. They brought Steve Rogers back, okay, and they tried to create a scenario in which they could have both. They had a book with both of them as Captain America. They put them on separate teams, so there were two different teams that had Captain Americas, and that's not, completely unheard of. There are times when like Bucky Cap and even John Walker Cap, I think, existed simultaneously or very close to. So not the craziest thing in the world, but the comics have been trying this. I don't know how it's working. I don't know how people are feeling about it. So there's a chance that Steve Rogers does come back, and Sam Wilson is also still Captain America. Okay, and that's probably what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what I think they should do is they should keep Sam Wilson and change him a lot. And how are they going to do that? Because they're going to keep Steve Rogers and they're going to change him a lot. So just walk with me on this. Walk with me on this. Steve Rogers is recast, and the MCU soft reboot has Steve return. Okay, now Doomsday is like they're looking for Steve Rogers, right? And there's like multiversal shenanigans. I think some of the elements of Doomsday will be remembered by everybody in 616, even after the reset. So right now, I kind of think that the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Brand New Day might have a planet pop up in the sky because of an incursion. That'll be an X-Men planet. And therefore, you're going to have an X-Men versus Avengers conflict in Doomsday. That's probably the atmospheric anomaly that Yelena and the Thunderbolts are talking about in that post-credit scene is probably that Earth popping up in the sky. Anyway, the point is, I think there'll be a conflict between X-Men and Avengers, planet versus planet, that Earth remembers. And therefore, they have a bad opinion of the X-Men. So when the X-Men and the mutants start actually popping up on 616, the people of Earth are going to be like, oh shit, like those people from that other planet, I don't like these people, right? So I think they're going to do that. And then I think the plot of finding Steve Rogers in the multiversal shenanigans of Doomsday will not actually be widely known about. Meaning the people of Earth are going to know about the X-Men because there's a planet in the sky. But they're not going to know that the Avengers and Doctor Doom is trying to get to Steve Rogers. Okay? So therefore, I think a lot of the people in 616 after Secret Wars will be living in the same assumption that they had before Secret Wars, which was Captain America's gone, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Maybe he's on the moon. Maybe he went into hiding. You know what I mean? Maybe he died. There's a lot of rumors. I think Steve Rogers will return. And so there'll be this thing of Steve Rogers returning, Captain America coming back. And I think the only way Marvel can make this make sense is if Anthony Mackie's Captain America gets killed off. So I don't know. I mean, they either kill Anthony Mackie's Captain America off, or Steve returns to the role. He vacates the role of Captain America. Maybe if you do a reset, because here's something else I thought of that could be really interesting is maybe Anthony Mackie's version of Falcon makes a heroic sacrifice either in Doomsday or Secret Wars, okay? And Steve Rogers knows this. He remember he's oh shit, this is awesome. Then maybe on the reboot, Steve is back, but he's never had any interactions with Falcon. So in the MCU soft reboot, Sam Wilson is just at that facility talking to the combat vets. Maybe it's Mackie, maybe it's not. But imagine a scene where Steve, and maybe it's our new Steve, pops in. And we're oh shit, we're about to get Captain and Falcon back, or Captain America and Falcon back together for the new reboot. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What I would say is I think if you if I had to put money on it, I would say Marvel's going to just act like nothing's happening, and they're probably just going to push it forward. They might bring Steve Rogers back, but keep Anthony or keep Sam as Cap, right? That's probably what they'll do. What I would do though, recast maybe both of them, and allow the audience to know that like we're gonna do this again. This dynamic is back. You know what I mean? And maybe that would sort of soften it a bit, as opposed to people feeling like, oh, bro, like Marvel basically said, fuck Black Captain America. No, it's more like, oh, hey, yeah, you know that whole story of like Sam then became Captain America? That leads to his heroic sacrifice, which saves the entire multiverse. And now we're just back a couple of chapters in the story, meaning Sam might and will probably become Captain America again. And maybe they could set him up for it in a better way. So that's kind of like my thoughts on that. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Is that controversial? What do you think? Somehow Steve returned. Yep. Recast Steve and have Sam Wilson be made Cap by S.H.I.E.L.D. when Steve was in the ice. Do a buddy cop dual Cap movie. Yeah, you could do something like that. I don't hate that idea. Like explaining, like, so basically in the soft reboot, what happened was Sam Wilson was only being Cap until Steve came back. So kind of like in post Final Crisis, I think, where Batman is gone, Dick is Batman, but he vacates the role once Bruce returns. You know, so yeah, something like that could work. Mm-hmm. Got to do Bucky next. Okay, let's do Bucky next. Let's do Bucky next, guys. I got to tell you, it kind of lines up with basically everything I was just saying, but I think keep and change a lot. I think you see, like, the problem is here, I love Sebastian Stan as Bucky, and he's actually one of the most redeemable parts of the Phase 4 thing. His role in Thunderbolts is incredible, and I think the new design and what they're going to set him up for in these next two movies is absolutely awesome. But it kind of goes into what I was speaking about with Steve Rogers and Sam. It's like, if you really want to unravel this mess, you kind of have it in a knot. I feel like you just got to kind of take it back. So I think a new Bucky would be the play. Think about it, man. Like, dude, think about this. Oh, new X-Men movie, 2027, 20th year anniversary. And guess what? Not only are you going to meet the new X-Men, but you're going to need our new Steve Rogers Captain America, our new Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier. You're going to meet our new Sam Wilson Falcon, and you're going to meet our new Tony Stark Iron Man. I mean, I feel like that's kind of dope. Like, I feel like people would be like, I'm actually really interested to see what the new version of Iron Man, like, what's the new Iron Man? Like, who's this new kid they cast as Steve? You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, I feel like there's some juice there. Our new Luke Skywalker. That would be cool. That would be cool if Star Wars wasn't completely dead. Okay, moving right on. Let's go to Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts. So, obviously we just had a whole conversation about Bucky, right? What about the Thunderbolts, guys? How are we feeling about the Thunderbolts? I kind of love the Thunderbolts. I think the Thunderbolts, so here's what I would say. I say keep the Thunderbolts, but change. The only thing you got to change is have them be Avengers. So when we do, and this will probably happen via Doomsday and Secret Wars, it seems like they're going to be a big part of that and becoming Avengers and, unifying with Sam Wilson's team and maybe even like Loki's multiversal Avengers or whatever, right? So just plug them into the Avengers. And by the way, the Avengers are not even going to be the focus of the saga. I think the big movies will be the X-Men movies, but the Avengers will still exist, and they will be important when the shit hits the fan. So have them be a part of that. I think that would be perfect. So pretty simple there. I feel like the Fantastic Four is also as simple, guys. It's going to depend on what happens in these next two films. I love the Fantastic Four movie. Pedro actually kind of really convinced me that he can work as Reed, and he did really well in that film. So I would say, honestly, with the Fantastic Four, like, keep as is, maybe change a little, but really just the natural change that would come from them and then being a part of the reboot. I think they're great, man. Keep as is. Okay, so that's my feelings there. What do you think about Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts? I'll pause for just a second, but then I kind of want to keep it moving here, guys, because this shit's going to take a while, brother. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to take a while here. Bob and Yelena are awesome. Totally agree. I think these are great characters. I think these are great movies. They should stick around. Recast Reed, please. We're all Pedro'd out. Well, what if we just stopped casting Pedro in all the other stuff and he just stayed as Reed? Because, like, I kind of like him as Reed. You know, against all the odds, I kind of like him as Reed Richards, man. He did pretty good. He's a good actor, dude. You know? Like, some of these people here, like, because we're going to talk about, like, Simu Louis, right? And, Simu says some wild shit, and there's, like, a lot of stuff I don't like about Simu, but I think he's really talented. Like, I think he's really talented, and I think he's an asset to the universe. So, you know what I mean? He was solid as Reed? Yeah. Okay, guys, let's move right along here. Let's go to Shuri. Now, Shuri is an interesting one, and I think just like we did with Steve and Bucky, we probably have to grab the Black Panther, the actual Black Panther, and we need to talk about these two in tandem. So, first of all, like Letitia, think she's great. Think she's always brought it. In her performance in both films is really incredible. So from that perspective, she's really good. She was great in the Avengers stuff too. So, you know, I like Shuri. I think she's good. I think, though, this character is a little bit tainted by, number one, the situation with T'Challa, but number two, the overall Marvel push for feminine characters. I'll never forget sitting down to talk to E-Man's movie reviews about this, and him telling me, like, he heard, just no if and or buts about it, he heard from behind the scenes that a big reason Disney did not recast T'Challa was because they wanted a female queen, that they felt like a female leader of Wakanda was a better move for the brand of Disney, as once again they were trying to get, like, Wakanda to be commercialized for female Disney fans. So because of that, there is a little bit of a stink on this character, okay? At least for me personally. But it really depends on what they do with T'Challa. That will kind of make me feel better or worse about what they do with Shuri, okay? So I think Shuri can kind of be kept as is, or maybe let's say keep and change, because she should not be Black Panther. Okay, so keep and change, and she should not be Black Panther. Okay, we did it. We tried it. She doesn't even want to do it. The actress doesn't want to do it. It's all about getting T'Challa back, a young male black man as the Black Panther. That seems to be the move. That's what they want to do. So it gets tricky then with the T'Challa thing here, okay? Because T'Challa, man, do I wish we could say keep as is. Obviously, we cannot with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. We'll say keep but change. And here's the thing. Here's what we got to talk about. So right now, it seems like what they're going to do in at least Doomsday and Secret Wars is have a T'Challa that is from the multiverse. There's even some indication that this might be from a universe within the multiverse where Wakanda basically formed a utopia, took over the planet, and maybe took over all of space. You know, the rumors are that this X-Men universe we're going to see is a utopia. X-Men universe, you can argue the Fantastic Four universe is a utopia Fantastic Four universe. This might be a utopia Black Panther universe, which, by the way, what was 838? It was a utopia Illuminati universe, or Avengers, kind of, you know what I mean? So they've been doing this a lot, and there's some interesting questions as to why. But the point is this: it seems like they're going to bring in an aged up T'Challa that is really the son of T'Challa. So this is like Toussaint, you know, T'Child, whatever you want to call him. It's the young son of T'Challa. But in this example, he is aged up. Okay. So I've been thinking a lot about this. I think the perfect way to do this is to have this young Black Panther be king of his universe, and he is king and he is the son of T'Challa. But in that universe where he is king, his father is not dead. His father is an old man that retired and passed on the power of the Panther and the throne to his son. But he's not dead. So what I would have is a Denzel Washington old head T'Challa. And he's T'Challa. He's not T'Sant. He's not the child. He's not any of that. He's T'Challa. Okay? But he's old and he's retired. Okay? And in the course of the movies for Doomsday or Secret Wars, young T'Challa, the king, is killed. And so the old, grizzled Denzel Washington, actual T'Challa, has to step back into the role of Black Panther and king. And then, in the MCU reset, what you do is you take the young T'Challa's kid from our universe that has no father, and you take the old T'Challa from that universe that has no son, and you smash them together, and you form somewhat of a full circle, kind of almost like a Kensigi sealing of the brokenness together. So that's what I would do. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would do it, because then you have T'Challa, you have a new young T'Challa, you sort of fix all the problems, and you allow it, you still allow it to, like, pass the baton. You know what I mean? So if they did that, they don't need to do anything really with Shuri other than change her a little bit so that she's no longer, king or queen or whatever, right? So yeah, that's how I would do that. Okay, next up, and by the way, I guess, what do you guys think about that? Yeah, it's a pretty cool idea, huh? It would be cool. It would be cool, man. I would like that quite a bit, and you could do this sort of a strange thing. You know, you know what it feels like? That show, Dark Matter. Have you guys ever watched that? I brought this show up because it just really blew me away. And when I watched Dark Matter, I was like, wow, they're doing the multiverse thing that Marvel's been trying to do, but they're doing it better and with more heart. Because the truth is, when you realize that, like, I love my wife, and I love my wife in every universe. So if I go into the next universe and my wife, that variant of my wife is in pain, it's going to affect me. It's going to twist me up inside. Do you know what I mean? And so they played off of that in Dark Matter in really interesting ways. And Marvel has, like, just dropped the ball so much with that concept. So I was just thinking about it, and I was like, that's how you fix that problem. That's how you square that circle. But anyway, let's talk about America Chavez. Chat, what do you think about America Chavez? And then I probably got to go put a coffee on. I can't believe this. We're like a third of the way through. This was another terrible idea of mine. We're going to be here for hours. We're ruining everybody's afternoon. Nobody likes this. Are you even having a good time? Should we shut this thing off? Should we just end the stream here? We could just call it. We could just be like, you know what? Another bad idea from Josh. Let's just pick it back up on Monday. You know, we gave it a shot. So here's the thing about America Chavez, guys. Holy shit. Justice Clemente with a $159 Australian thing super chat says, I love the channel in this community. Just wondering, Josh, do you reckon you'll ever rewatch any of the Phase 4-5 projects in preparation for Doomsday? Wait a minute. Is this a trick question? First of all, I really appreciate it. That's a big old super. My God. But second of all, are you fooling us? Are you fooling around with us right now? Because there's not only are we doing that, but this coming Wednesday, you might want to come by the Nerdvenger stream where we will talk about our plan for that, because that is somewhat connected to the most ambitious project I've ever tried on YouTube. So I'm about to do a really crazy YouTube project, which may or may not be directly connected to your question. So thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. So here's the thing about America Chavez, guys. I actually liked the character in the movie, and all you anti-wokers, go ahead, get it out of your system. You're all mad because I like the America Chavez character. I'm woke now. Totally get it. Get it out of your system. Go ahead. I like the fucking character, okay? First of all, I think the actress is good. I think she's cool. Second of all, the depiction was so much more mild and dialed back compared to the character from the comic books. Second of all, I felt like a lot of care was given to, although she is an important part of the story, give autonomy to both Wanda and to Doctor Strange, which I know is super controversial, but like I'm allowed to have my opinion about that. I felt like the character was handled well in the film. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff about the character and her mythology and the connections to the Demiurge and all these really interesting concepts, okay? But here's the thing. That's Josh the fan. I have to put the pundit hat on, and I got to tell you, you need to delete this character. And honestly, probably delete forever everywhere, okay? And the reason why is because, like, I could see an argument for, like, delete and then maybe, like, rehabilitate or whatever, but, like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I'm just going to, and you don't have to agree with this, but I'm just going to tell you the take. I'm going to tell you. The truth is, the Chuds cannot handle this, okay? The Dude Bros will never be able to let this one go. You named her America, okay? And I've read all the stuff in the comics. I know what the character is. She is a literal woke thorn in the side of comic book. She was created with the intent to ruffle feathers, to get people mad, to be girl power. That is what the character is, okay? And the reality is, okay, the Dude Bros are not going to like it when I say this. They want her gone. They're not going to like what I'm about to say, though. They're too sensitive. They will not be able to let it go, okay? I'm just telling you, as a pundit, I live in this fandom, okay? These really tough, awesome, aggressive, high testosterone Dude Bros are never going to not whine like little baby bitch boys about America Chavez. That's what it is. So I'm telling you, as somebody that like actually doesn't mind the character all that much, delete her forever from every goddamn thing ever. Because I don't care enough about her to defend her against this Dude Bro hate. And they're not going to stop. And it will always be fucking terrible. So please listen to what I'm saying. It's not that deep. This was a purple hair woke person's, I'm going to piss off all the Dude Bros characters. I'm sorry. That is what it is. Maybe some people find that funny and cool, and that's okay too. But that's what she is. And even the tame, dialed back, like, let's Disneyfy her version of the character was met with so much fucking hate, dude. And I don't care enough about the character to defend her from it. So she gone forever from everything. Okay, moving right along. Eternals, chat. Eternals. What do we think about the Eternals? What do we think about the Eternals? Man, this is a tough one. I really don't care about the Eternals at all. If we never saw another Eternal ever, I wouldn't care at all. It's tough because, like, I actually like the movie more than a lot of you guys do. But, holy shit. What an unremarkable gloobly glob group of characters that, like, just, I don't know if it's maybe just that they were bad or the MCU at the time was so bad and directionless that, like, I can't conceive, I just genuinely cannot conceive of how they would come back into play at all and feel satisfying. So I'm just gonna put them into delete. Star-Lord. No, not delete forever, because there's actually cool comic stuff that's been done with them. So comic book people can keep the Eternals. They're a Jack Kirby thing, so we don't want to delete them forever. Maybe they could have a heyday. Maybe they get a revitalization. So that's what it is. Star-Lord, baby. What do you guys think of Star-Lord? Star-Lord. I see two viable paths forward for Star-Lord. Keep as is if they're going to utilize him. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Pratt is really cool, but I would imagine he costs a lot of money. I think part of the intent in pushing him towards Earth and away from that team is that they can make Guardians movies without him for, like, way cheaper. Kind of sucks, but that's like the reality of the situation. So if Pratt being the character and Disney are just we're never gonna get a lot of Star-Lord, then maybe recast. You know what I mean? Because I like Star-Lord a lot, and I think in a cosmic saga, which is coming, you know, characters like Nova and you know, even stuff like the Shi'ar and stuff coming in, it's like I think there's a place for Star-Lord, and I think he could be like really cool. Plus, they made him like celestial in the MCU, which like I actually like when he's like the prince of the Jason and the Argonauts, whatever they're called. I actually like that in comics a lot. But the celestial thing is interesting. Like that's kind of an interesting thing. That's one of the cool things that Gunn did actually was like kind of turn Peter into a celestial a bit, or like half celestial. So I would like to know where that goes. You know, I'd like to know how that plays out. So I don't know, man. You know what? I'm just gonna say keep as is because it's what I want, not what I think they'll do. So I say keep as is, man. I really, really like Star-Lord. Lou, appreciate you the 20 spot, brother. Says I just had my new baby girl on Saturday and wanted to spread the love. As a father of 4 who is exhausted, I appreciate your takes and enjoy your content, which I need now more than ever. Love this community. Nerd fathers for life. Lou, congratulations. Thank you for the kind words, man. 4, huh? I'm halfway there, and it's crazy here. So my kids are actually my wife right now is taking the kids to grandma's. We got a weekend without the kids, and we get another weekend without the kids next weekend, actually. But yeah, obviously we love them, man, and I'm glad that I'm able to help you out on some dad duty with some nerdy content. You guys obviously help me, you know, with my family a lot, so it's cool. It's a copacetic thing. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna keep Pratt as is. Okay, this one's really easy, guys. Delete forever everywhere. Gaia. What the fuck were they thinking? What an like this should be a meme. They're gonna look back at this and be like, oh man, that's a funny AI photo that they tried to make. Dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Gaia? Is Gaia the worst thing Marvel's ever done, guys? Shalami says they can keep Star-Lord and have him join the Starjammers. Introduce Scott's dad. I like that, man. Corsair? Yeah. The Corsairs or whatever. Bro, this is the worst thing they've ever done. Gaia is the worst thing they've ever done. Delete forever from everything. Holy shit. Talk about Echo. I mean, guys, I don't know. I don't hate Echo. You know, I kind of have a soft spot for Echo. But honestly, dude, I don't know. Honestly, dude, like, what are we doing with Echo? What are we doing? Like, here's what I feel. I feel like she either goes in delete or keep as is. She's the same as Vision for me, which is like, I really don't care. So you keep her as is. If you change everything around her, it's probably fine. Shit. Put her in delete. Put her in delete. Just delete it. Just delete it. I don't want to fuck with it anymore. It's not worth it. No more. Okay, let's save Iron Man and Doom, because we have to have a whole conversation about that. So let's save those two. All right, let's go Doc Strange. I think this one's pretty simple, although I will throw another caveat on here. We have to see what happens in Secret Wars. We have to see what happens in Doomsday. But I'm going to say keep as is, man. I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. One of the best things we have going on. And I think we're going to lose a lot of people. And that's okay. But I think we need a couple of, like, veterans. You know, I would like a couple vets. I think Benedict is one that we can keep around. And because of his proximity to the multiverse stuff, and especially with all the Doom stuff, there's a real opportunity for his third film, even if it exists after Secret Wars, there's an opportunity for his third film to really fill us in on the state of the multiverse and all of that, So, yeah. Mr. Wangalicious with a 5 says, just realizing I've been watching you for years and I've never sent a chat. Thank you, Josh, for everything. Keep it up. Hey, I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, the energy in the streams has been really good lately. I think people are appreciative of Josh is showing up and bringing the energy. You know what I mean? And I am. I'm trying to, at least, I'm trying to show up and I'm trying to bring the energy. I'm cooking ideas. I've been taking more days off, but I am working on those days to try to make sure that we're still having fun and keeping things fresh. And I've felt a lot of appreciation from the community, Nerd Theory and these streams. So I will say I hear you and it means a lot and I really appreciate it. And we're going to keep doing it. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. All right. What were we talking about? Okay, yeah, we were just talking about Stephen Strange. Stephen Strange, keep as is, man. Keep Stephen Strange as is. We like Stephen Strange. Okay, let's talk about Daredevil. I'm gonna say keep as is with a caveat that season 2 is like the as is. And more Warhammer? Hell yeah, we do need to do more Warhammer. Absolutely. Keep as is as long as season 2 turns it up. You know what I mean? Because if we're keeping as is, where he's barely in the suit, he's getting lectured by his girlfriend, he's doing this action. How many times did Matt do this in season 1? As long as it's he's actually beating ass, he's snapping necks and cashing checks, and Karen's breaking him off a piece, then yes, keep as is. Okay? Heather, though, delete forever everywhere. Speaking of delete forever everywhere, can we talk about what's her name? Calumet? What's this actress's name? She's an incredible actress, man. She's an incredible actress. But it's delete forever everywhere. Okay? My God. What an embarrassing, silly, goobly glob way to end a fucking show. It was so bad. She's an incredible actress. She's absolutely fucking beautiful. There's so much that I like. There's so much potential. May Calumet, she's incredible. Says nothing against her. This Marvel fucked this up, man. I really didn't like what they did here. I really didn't like it. She becomes a superhero at the end and somehow helps to save the day. She's the red scarab, but it was the hippo Narfueta lady that gives her the powers. It's all fucking goobly glob. It's hey, let's have a girl power. This isn't the damsel in distress because it's fucking 2024, and so we'll never have that story again. She's gonna save herself. I saved myself. She's basically Matt's girlfriend. Horrible. Okay, let's talk about Moon Knight. Moon Knight. Keep but change. I had a couple of thoughts, man, when I was putting this list together, specifically about Moon Knight. So, remember one of the first trailers for Moon Knight? Do you remember when they had all the mummy shit, his suit kind of grew on him and it was all mummy-ish and the white, the wrappings and all of that? Do you remember that in the first trailer? Do you remember that? So the problem with, I have so many problems with Moon Knight, but the problem with the Moon Knight show is because they thought that was so fucking cool and basically it stopped there. That's and that is, don't get me wrong, it is kind of cool. I like it. But if that's your idea of what makes Moon Knight cool, you don't know shit about Moon Knight. And the problem was that this show thought Like it was in some ways doing the worst superhero things, like literally the worst. And that's an example of it. It's like, we're going to do this really cool fucking full CGI shot where all the fucking threads are coming together and then he's Moon Knight. And it's like, ah! And like, I'm actually trying to make a point here because, you know, back in the day, they didn't have any of that kind of shit. And we knew how to make motherfuckers look badass. You could have him just in a hood, do a like cosplayer version of this costume and actually made him badass and stylish and dope, and it would have been way cooler. As it stood, it was this ridiculous CGI fest goobly glob Disney thing that I couldn't make heads or tails of, and ultimately wasn't even badass. I mean, he's goofy. He's a goofy, confused fuck up. And if you've read Moon Knight, sure, there's part of it where he is like that, but there's also parts of it where like Moon Knight himself is like one of the most put together, mysterious, badass dudes in comics. I can't believe that we have Oscar Isaac playing Moon Knight, and that show is what they gave us. It is seriously so bad, and I think it's especially bad compared to what it could be. Moon Knight should have been like Legion, and you could have had Oscar Isaac in a Halloween costume, and it would have been fucking cool. As it stands, it's like the perfect antithesis of like actual good comic book storytelling. It's somebody that doesn't understand the shit at all and was just like, oh, but this is going to look so badass, you know? Terrible. So with all of that said, I think you keep Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight because he is Oscar Isaac. And I think they change him. I would say change him a lot. But honestly, if you change a lot of the stuff around him, like delete the Red Scarlet character and just delete that whole thinking permanently, I think you actually can mostly keep Moon Knight the same. I would like Steven to be a little better, more put together. I would like it to be a little less jokey. I'd like to dial up the darkness and the violence a little bit, which you could do with the Jake character. So they have a lot of ways that they could rehabilitate the character. So I say keep and change. Okay. Anyway, that's my take on that. I know I probably shit on it a little bit too hard, but I really have a lot of problems with the Moon Knight show. Rob OK says, I could listen to you do this all day. Good shit. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Javier Mendez, appreciate the 5 spot. What do you guys think of the Moon Knight thing? You think I'm crazy? You guys, some of you guys like Moon Knight? Moon Knight was liked by 90% of people, Josh? No way. No way. If that's true, where's season 2? If that's true, where's the character? Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight could have been up there with Bucky's, Hawkeye's, Black Panther. He was so underutilized and could have made one of Marvel's best characters. Such a shame. Much love. I agree. I actually agree. Yeah. Moon Knight was boring. I think so. Yeah. Here comes the lag. Oh no, do we have lag? Are we lagging out? Here comes the lag. Do 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 do. Here comes the lag. Now say. Here comes the lag. Okay, cool. So we're all on the same page with that. Loki. Oh man, what do you guys think of Loki? This one's kind of interesting. Let's do Loki and Thor together. Let me find Thor. And we'll do Loki and Thor together. I think we need both of them to be recast. I think it would feel very cathartic to close that chapter of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Loki and Thor, those versions, you know, just kind of, they did their thing. They had their time. You could potentially even put them in Valhalla or put them in some multiversal Valhalla, which is something like maybe the ones above in Shadow or whatever. Like Marvel has all kinds of different weird pantheons of gods and stuff like that. So maybe you could like technically keep them, but like just, I do think we need a recast here. Shalami says, you're right. Moon Knight is an extremely overrated show. They could have done so much better. Same with Loki, in my opinion. I agree. I like the Loki show a lot more, but both shows have a similar problem. So let's just start there. some of you say no. A lot of you are probably like, no. I get it, right? I mean, and I could see the argument for, we're saying goodbye to so many. Why do we have to say goodbye to them? Yeah. Hemsworth is Odin. It's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I don't hate that. I say recast them. I say, and Loki's already pretty much there. I think Thor needs a little bit of work, but they've both had such incredible runs, and I think they're going to have really good full circle moments. It was not an accident that Thor's crying in the Deadpool Wolverine movie on Battleworld or whatever, right? It wasn't an accident that they are building, or rather that there's been on a whiteboard reunion between those two characters at Marvel for a long, long time, right? Setting Loki up in the way that they did for Secret Wars is obvious as well. So I think that there's a lot of evidence to suggest that they're rounding the bend. They are getting into the last parts of their individual stories. And I just really feel like it's, okay, they had their run. Oh my God, their version was incredible. They did all this stuff. Let's bring in some new people. And I would go younger. The Loki character is such a fun and great character, and it would be so fun to see somebody else tackle that. You know who came to mind for me? Timothy Clement, Chalamet. Timmy C. Timmy C as the new Loki, I kind of like. You know who I like as Thor? Reacher guy. Yeah, dude, what if we just went with the Reacher guy and we had a Thor that was like actually the size of a bus? And we've got this tiny little Timmy C as Thor, and then Reacher as, or Timmy C as Loki, and then Reacher guy as Thor. A lot of people in chat don't like this, by the way, guys. A lot of people in chat are like, nope, you've lost me, Josh. Well, guess what? It's my show. So I'm going to put them both in keep and change a lot, meaning recast. Ryan Gosling is Loki? Whoa, that's a take. Punisher, really easy. Keep as is. Can do no wrong. Let's have a conversation about Nick Fury. And I actually think this is a really interesting one because of, the race change thing here from comics. And, we talk a lot about race bending and your mileage may vary on how you feel about it. But I think the Nick Fury character is such an interesting character because it shows us that, maybe this is an example of doing it right. Because when it comes to Nick Fury, I think we can actually have a completely reasonable conversation about whether or not Nick Fury should be white or black. And also, I think we could probably all agree that you should get the best white actors and you should get the best black actors, and they should all read, and we literally just pick the best one. And that is not always the case. I don't know that there are a lot of other characters like this that you could actually say that about. Truly. And we live in a day and age where that's such a hot button topic and people's mileage may vary on it and people get so upset and this, that, second, and the third. But the reality is, I think, so Nick Fury is traditionally a white comic book character. Okay, and there's a live action version of him that is white that pre-exists Sam Jackson's version. Okay. However, Sam Jackson is a massive fucking comic book fan. And so some of the people that were like kind of friendly with Sam knew this about Sam. And so they actually create Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in the comic books in the Ultimates universe first. And what's kind of fun about before the actual MCU is what I'm getting at. And one of the reasons that's so like cool, one of the reasons that's like so fun is because the idea behind the Ultimates universe was what if it was real? What if it was in live action? And in a lot of ways, there's like, who are you going to do it for the casting? And in fact, there are articles out there where the artists, which I forget who the artist was that does like some of the first stuff, because it was Mark Millar. I'm forgetting on who the artist was, okay? But there were artists out there that were actually talking about the actual actors that they were basing the new designs off of, because that was the thing. They literally were looking at actors to do it. Okay, anyway, point is, Sam Jackson's Nick Fury exists in the comic book first in an actual separate universe that was actually designed to be more like a cinema, like if it was going to be movies. So then when it comes time to make the actual Avengers stuff, Nick Fury's like, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of this and do it. So then we get Nick Fury, Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and it's so good and it's so well established that I believe most people think Nick Fury was always black. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, most people probably think Nick Fury was always black. And even if they don't think that, they think there was such a seminal run of both Black Nick Fury in the comics and Black Nick Fury in live action that essentially you could make the argument that white Nick Fury and Black Nick Fury are equally important. And there's a lesson in there for how Hollywood should think about these things and not just fuck it up. But we've made that point many times, and we can move right past it. So what I would say is, like, when it actually comes to Nick Fury here, it's either keep as is or recast. And I got to tell you, I think we recast. I think it's keep and change a lot. And I think you recast, and I think you dead ass, you get a bunch of dudes that look like Black Nick Fury and bring Black Nick Fury energy. And then you get a bunch of dudes that look like white Nick Fury and bring white Nick Fury energy. By the way, as a small aside, one of my favorite little jokes about this in comics was in Brian Michael Bendis's Spider-Man run. He has 616 Peter Parker go into the Ultimates universe and he meets Black Nick Fury. And our Peter tells Nick Fury in the Ultimates universe that Nick Fury is white in his universe, and deadass Black Nick Fury takes a beat and just says, "I'm so sorry." And it's one of the funniest comic book things. Like, it's on the nose. It's a little like subtext and nuance. It's like it's racial but not racist, you know. But I thought that was so funny. I got such a kick out of it because you really have to understand the characters to like understand the joke. What is white Nick Fury? Essentially, the energy is that Black Nick Fury would probably be just a little bit more chill than white Nick Fury. Black Nick Fury knows himself and he knows who he is. And he knows that if he was white, he'd be Nick Fury. He'd be everything that he is, but he'd also have a little bit of white people shit with it. That's what it is. Okay? And if that's like making you feel a certain type of way, get over it. You're a pussy. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Kang. Kang the Conqueror. This one's really interesting. This is one that's also, it's similar to a lot of these other ones because, look, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I still think Coleman is Kang. So that is still far-fetched. A lot of people think that's fake. And we don't know who he's playing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? But I actually still strongly feel that he's playing Kang. And so it's difficult because, like, we're basically saying that he would have to change because they're probably not going to bring Majors back. That feels like an impossibility at this point. But it's also possible that he already is back. And so by the time we get to the reboot, it's like, do you see why it's confusing? So I'm going to say keep but change. Okay, I'm going to say keep but change. You know what? No, I'm going to change that. I'm going to say keep but change a lot. Okay. Kang is cool. The MCU Kang was not that cool, man. He Who Remains was interesting. Why did all the variants feel goofy as Looney Tunes? Why were all the variants unable to speak properly? Why were all the variants not badass? Where was the ice cold Kang? Oh, the one that got beat by the ants? No, that's not him. Like, come on, man. So Kang needs changed a lot. Even if nothing ever happened with Majors, I think they fumbled the introduction of Kang, dude. You know? Oh, did I say the wrong? Oh, it's Tillman, not Coleman. You're right, Tillman. My bad. But I same. Everything applies. Everything I said applies. Yeah. So I'd say keep Kang, but change him a lot. Probably recast him, make him more badass, dude. Kang could show up in the next saga and actually do interesting shit. But he has to be different. He can't be what he was. That dude, Victor Timely. No, Victor Timely. I would like to thank you for allowing me to ruin the MCU. You know, it's just like, no, like we can't do that shit. Change him. Let's talk about Wolverine, and I think we'll probably, guys, have to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine together, right? They're very connected here. So, I mean, man, it's tough because I want a new Wolverine, but the reality is they're going to keep these two as is, okay? This is the worst kept secret in Hollywood. I told you guys this basically as Deadpool and Wolverine was coming out. They're keeping Hugh Jackman and Deadpool. Daniel RPK has recently reported this again for the third time in 4 years. Daniel this exclusive. Everybody just keeps forgetting. But in all seriousness, he did actually bring it up again, and it's real. Like, they're keeping Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Now, it's possible that they're doing a recast and they're keeping Hugh Jackman as Wolverine because they're probably just going to have him play with, like, the Deadpool stuff. And the rumor is right now, like, I'll tell you right now, what Ryan, the last time I spoke to sources about this, what Ryan wants is he wants a buddy cop movie with him, Wolverine, and the new Storm, who he wants to be Cynthia, actually. And he wants to do, and Cable. And he wants that X-Force movie with them. But he wants the new Storm. Okay. So, look, I mean, obviously, I don't want that. I don't want Cynthia's Storm. But, I mean, I guess I'd be okay with, like, an Exiles or something. Deadpool and Logan are going to remain the same. They're going to go, like, do their thing for, like, probably 8 more years, a couple of more movies, and then they'll retire. And it's possible we get a new Wolverine. Maybe eventually we'd get a new Deadpool, but I think maybe new Wolverine. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what that is. Let's talk about Hulk, guys. I think Hulk is a pretty obvious one. I think it's change a lot. I think it's keep and change a lot. I think we need a new Bruce Banner. I think we need a recast. I actually really like Mark Ruffalo. I think he's been incredible for the MCU, but I think it's time we moved on. And I think we get a young, really nerdy looking Banner, like a really nerdy Banner. So that's what I would like to see. This is another one that's tough because Hulk is apparently being rehabilitated over the next couple of films. So he's going to go savage in the next Spider-Man movie. He's going to go savage in, or potentially be savage in Doomsday, maybe be half and half again in Secret Wars. The concept art kind of makes it seem like that. So Hulk's going to get some rehabilitating and likely have a big role. I can actually see them keeping Ruffalo because of the mocap and the model. I mean, they've done so much work on this model. It might actually be relatively cheap for them to actually render Hulk and do Hulk action sequences. Like, I've actually heard that. So part of the reason that, like, She-Hulk was so expensive to render and they, like, hid all of her transformations is because it's a new model and they don't have a lot of like work on it. And so they just don't have like, so like with Hulk, they have hundreds of hours of renders of, you know, Hulk at different stages with different polygon levels and all kinds of different textures and weaves, and like they have all of that. She-Hulk, some of that stuff they have to build as they're doing it. So like I could see an argument for Marvel being like, no, actually we'll keep Ruffalo because it's going to be cheaper than ever to do Hulk in the next couple of years, especially with AI. It's going to be cheaper than ever, so we could do Hulk forever. But I would just say, in the spirit of the reset, if we're going to get a new Steve, a new Sam, a new Bucky, I say give us a new Bruce, man. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I stand with it. What do you guys think? The model stinks. The model stinks. I gotta tell you, I think that model stinks. Oh, man. Michael Cera as Banner. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Shalami Leaner says they should do an Uncanny X-Force movie and just add Storm to the team and replace Cable instead of Deathlock. Uncanny X-Force movie. They add Storm to the team, replace Cable instead of Deathlock. That could be cool, dude. I like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah. Click, clack. You're not wrong. It is kind of crazy. Yeah. Who could play the new Banner? I like Timmy C. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard of this guy, Timothy Charlemagne. You know, kind of popular guy. You know, I think he said recently, like, you could get lost in the sauce, but without any sauce, you're lost. You know, so I was like, damn, dude. Bars. Penn Bagley actually would be good. That's a good one, Frostro. Yeah. Yeah. What the hell's up with the Timmy C hate? Why are y'all hating on Timmy C? Why are you hating on Timmy C, chat? Just paint the Reacher guy green? That would be interesting. All right, let's talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy. Literally keep as is. Dude, I actually really like the setup for this new team. I like Kaiju. I like Kraglin as the new Whistler guy. I like Phyla Vel. She's really cool in the comics, and hopefully she ages up a bit and is actually kind of badass. Dude, I like Adam Warlock. I like this squad, bro. Keep this squad. Keep them as is. Put them on some adventures. Let them go have some fun. I would be very fascinated to watch them. I think that one's easy, man. Okay, let's do Agatha, and I'll also throw Death in here as well. Yeah, I think you got to keep and change a lot, man. I think you got to maybe potentially recast both of them. It's a shame because the Agatha show is like so good. The Agatha show is so good. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that they're cooking with, like, you know, Wanda's kids and whatnot. But really and truly, it came in way too late. It came in way too late. And although those characters are fun, no, I think as we're talking about freshness, if we're rebooting stuff, that's a side that should be changed a lot. And to be honest with you, you don't really need Agatha at all. Like, you could let Agatha go completely and then maybe introduce her again down the line with a recast. Death is maybe even potentially a little bit more important. And you don't even need a named actress to play Death. Like, just find some, you know, hot biddy and put a skull mask on her or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? So, because Death doesn't do anything. Death shouldn't do anything. I don't even like Aubrey Plaza as Death. Not because it's not interesting, but because, like, I like Death as the lady that just literally won't say shit to Thanos. And she's more of a force of nature than anything. You know what I mean? So, you know, to me, like the Agatha thing, swing and a miss, keep, but change a lot. And honestly, like, just kind of keep out of the spotlight. Borderline delete. Wanda, very simple. She can do no wrong. Keep as is. She's going to get a lot of love in these movies. And I still think there's fertile ground for storytelling. So a lot of stuff can be done with her. Lizzie Olsen is beautiful, brilliant, talented, can do no wrong. Bestest girl there ever was. Much love to the Scarlet Witch. So here's kind of one that I think might interest you guys, because we're getting to the bottom of it here. Valentina, keep as is. Okay, and I want to make a point about this because I actually want to give Marvel some credit here. We give Marvel a lot of shit for, like, not reading the room and not understanding what the fans are trying to say. But Sharon Carter was originally going to have a much bigger role in both Brave New World and Thunderbolts, and they moved her out of the way, and they put Julia, Miss Dreyfus, in. And I have to say, as much as I still think that's kind of like a cringy little stupid storyline and they just want a female girl boss government villain figure, if we have to choose, I choose her over Sharon Carter. And I think that's what Marvel did too. And I actually think it's a good move. She is way more dynamic of an actress. There were some subtle moments in Thunderbolts where I was like, damn, she's bringing it. Like, for instance, the moment where she is shown the dream. I was like, oh, damn, she's got chops. That's why she's considered one of the best actresses on the planet. So I actually think keep her as is. Don't change her at all. I know. Kind of seems crazy, right? But I'm telling you, like, she's a good version of this. This is just an archetype. This is, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, we don't have to get crazy about it. The government girl boss evil lady, yeah, that's an archetype. And it's an archetype that can be really fun. I like Val, so I say keep as is. Moving right along, chat. Jeremy Renner Hawkeye. This one's kind of interesting, man. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yeah, I think it might be recast time. I think a lot of us are feeling that. You know, I think the unfortunate truth was like there was a window here where I think Hawkeye's return would have been great. You know, after the snowmobile accident and everything, I think there was like there was a moment where, like, I don't know, it could have been great. And Disney just so clearly did not want to go in that direction. I actually am starting to think it actually had a little bit more to do with like Paramount and some of the sort of branding competitiveness. You know, obviously they don't want to pay Renner what he's probably worth. So we heard some stories about them trying to lowball him. But, you know, it is what it is, and they kind of squandered the moment. It feels like they squandered the moment. And I think Renner's probably coming back to do some cool shit in these next two movies, you know, Avengers and all that. But I don't expect him to do much more. And I think maybe it is time. Maybe let's get a new Hawkeye. And you know what else? Depending on what the changes are to the reboot, dude, the Hawkeye from the Ultimates universe used guns, and he was like a psycho. I liked that Hawkeye. So maybe we like kind of really change it up with Hawkeye. Yeah. All right, guys, we're in the bottom stretch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 more. I can't believe it. We're almost through. Oh, I missed some soupies. Hang on, let me go back here. CO says people tend to care about these characters because there's a legacy to them. If it's an all-new cast, I feel like that gravity is gone. Otherwise, the last 25 movies are meaningless. 20-year investment gone. Yeah, and I think that, you know, that what you're saying there, oh, you forgot about Mary Jane for Spider-Man? Shut your mouth. A lot of people feel that way, CO. I think Kevin feels that way. I think that's why Kevin doesn't want to even call it a reboot. Kevin wants to call it a reset. And I am here to say, go hard. Reset. Reboot. I wouldn't even mind a full reboot myself. But I think there are people that feel the way you feel, for sure. Agatha is one of the popular characters on the TV side. Yeah, delete her forever. Okay, let's talk about Shang-Chi. What do you guys think about Shang-Chi? What do you think? Oh, Goblin S tier, Cool Bear. Is that what your silly message said? God. Ugh. Keep as is, baby. Keep as is. I like Shang-Chi. Kind of crazy we haven't had more of them, you know? And obviously, like, you know, Simu says some wild stuff. Simu's a little bit of a character. But he's a good actor. He's a good actor. I like the dude as an actor. I like the character. I'm interested to see what he does in these next 2 films. I think he's good. I think he's good for the dynamic. Now, you need more like alpha males. He doesn't fit. He's not the alpha male character. He's not going to fit that like dude bro energy, right? He's kind of like the silent fighter type, the like more roguish, you know, gentlemanly fighter guy. That's like the space that he occupies. You need some brutes still. But I think he works within that dynamic. I think he actually plays his role quite well. You know what I mean? So, like, if this was an anime, he'd be like the metrosexual, really good fighter that's like also like a little too fancy and full of himself, you know, and also maybe sticks up for women a little too much, you know, a little male feminist energy. He'd be like that character in the anime. Shalami says, you forgot War Machine. No, we didn't. He's right here. War Machine. What do we think? Who's the most dude bro in the MCU? I'd say probably Punisher, maybe Wolverine, Savage Hulk, early Thor, early Winter Soldier. Yeah, those are dude bro characters. This one's so obvious, bro. We need a recast here. Okay, but again, you know what? Actually, okay, I'll tell you this. Let's recast, but let's also, it's important because when I get into the Tony Stark thing, this is actually going to matter. So, this character's already been recast, and Don Cheadle did good, but Secret Invasion is like a huge fucking problem, right? So we need to undo Secret Invasion, and I think they actually will probably undo Secret Invasion, and then we keep him as Rhodey, and he's Rhodey. But I actually think it would be kind of funny to have a new Rhodey that's the real Rhodey, and then everybody would kind of refer to this dude as Skrull Rhodey, even though it got retconned. So that could actually like work. And I just think you definitely recast him, and then especially because I do think you're going to recast Iron Man potentially, bring Iron Man back. A new Rhodey, a new Iron Man has a lot of the same feeling of a new Sam Wilson and a new Steve Rogers. And I really think that would be good. They need to choke him to death like he suggested for Thanos. That would be funny, yeah. All right, let's talk about Wiccan. And I'm talking about Wiccan and his brother. It's keep as is for me, man. I actually, like, the Agatha show's good. This kid is brilliant. This kid is a great performer. I thought he did great in the show. The character's interesting. The powers are cool. LGBT representation, for some people that's like really important. Your mileage may vary on that. Some of you guys are like, but it is what it is. I like the character. And I also think it's just, we haven't like let them do their thing. I had this thought, chat. Okay. I had this thought where, you know how we were complaining about Children's Crusade? I want you to walk with me on this one, because I think this is another really good take. So Children's Crusade has been rumored for a long time, and we would talk about it often, and we talked about it a lot around the time of the Agatha show. And there's still some evidence that maybe Children's Crusade will take place in Doomsday. So I was thinking that I didn't want that to happen because we don't have the players. Children's Crusade is fun because of Doctor Doom. Children's Crusade is fun because of Magneto. Children's Crusade is fun because of like Kang and the Time Stream and the like all that, right? We don't have any of that shit. So therefore, the version of Children's Crusade that the MCU would be able to do would be fucking lame. But as I was thinking about this list yesterday, I realized that that's part of why some of these stories are being saved for the MCU reset. Because once we get all of those toys back, you could actually do a Children's Crusade, and it could actually be compelling as fuck. So all of a sudden, some of the things that have been holding back some of these characters are going to go away when the reset happens. This is also a possible explanation for why so many of the projects in Phase 4 and 5 were goobly glob and felt so unfulfilled, because Kevin and Marvel were waiting until they got all the toys to tell the really cool stories with all the toys. Just a thought, and I don't want to get too fanboy on it, but I did have that thought, and I was like, man, that's kind of interesting. They have a lot more of ability to pull off some of these stories in the future than they have had in the last couple of years, and that's just obviously a fact. All right, Ironheart is tough, man. I got to tell you, man, just delete Ironheart, bro. I'm sorry. Just delete Ironheart. I'm sorry. Delete Ironheart. Like, maybe an argument can be made for keep and change a lot. First of all, the costume. This fucking costume is terrible. You're telling me you're going to make the derivative Iron Man and you're not even going to give her a fucking cool-ass Iron Man costume? What are we doing here? This stupid, bulky Power Rangers shit is not it. It is lame. It is fucking lame. Give her a cool Iron Man suit at the very least, dude. So I would say like that's like part of the problem. But honestly, I'm sorry, Riri's never popped off. Okay, they tried to make her work in the comics, never worked. They tried to make her work in the movies, never worked. It just never worked. So you're either gonna have to change the character so much that she almost becomes unrecognizable, or just stop trying to make fetch happen. Like dead ass. Like stop. All the resources that you're spending trying to make this character happen could be spent better on other characters that people already like more. And the reason that's important to realize is because you're not just wasting the resources, you're actually spending resources to make people mad. Please stop doing that. Triple X says, banish her to the Shadow Realm. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. Yeah. I honestly say delete the character. I'm very close to delete the character everywhere. But I do think that there's some moments, like, so I read the Bendis run that she's in with Infamous Iron Man, and there were some moments there where I was like, oh, okay, there's actually some cool stuff that you could do with her. And I think Bendis wrote Riri a lot better than a lot of the other, like, more liberal-minded writers. And Bendis is obviously very liberal, too. But the point is, Bendis actually, like, wrote her decent. She's still a supervillain, but wrote her decent. But a lot of the stuff in Champions was so bad, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like that pastel art, goobly glob, like it's the same thing of like when Tessa's character was so cool and they were like, but we're going to make her a girl boss and she's going to be the queen of Asgard. It's that thinking. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You had an awesome character. You're just acting stupid now. That's like a lot of the energy that has happened with Riri Williams in her comic book run and in live action. And also, too, don't act like they didn't try. Are you kidding me? They put her in one of the biggest sequels in the history of Hollywood, brother. Okay? Wakanda Forever? $1 billion movie, just about, right? Or did it actually crack a bill? Huge movie. The sequel to a $1 billion movie that changed things. And they put this character front and center. So don't act like they didn't give her as much of a shot as possible. She was put in one of the biggest, most high-profile movies ever. Then she got her own streaming show. Okay? It only made 800? Damn. Still, pretty good. They gave her shot. It's just not working. It's not that deep. We don't have to be dicks about it. Derivative black girl genius Iron Man has not worked thus far. Let's move on. Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Look, I'm gonna say keep as is, but honestly, dude, I say recast. Okay, you guys are not gonna be able to handle this one. You guys are gonna be so mad about this one, but I actually do want to recast Spider-Man. But I also know that none of you are actually going to go for that. And Tom Holland is an incredible Spider-Man. So let's just put him in, keep as is. It's fine. I'm dead ass though. I want him gone, dude. I want a new Spider-Man. I want Andrew Garfield. I've had enough of Tom Holland. But that's because of Beer Up. Okay, moving on. We have arrived at the end, chat. And this is the most important part of the whole discussion. This will be the most important question, the most determining factor of the MCU reboot. What are they going to do with the character of Tony Stark and the character of Doctor Doom? What do you guys think? Before I give my thoughts, what do you think about this? What do you guys think? A lot of people saying recast or recast both. Wow. I would not be against recasting both. I'm actually serious. I would not be against recasting both, okay? But keep Tony and change a lot. I think we need a new Tony Stark, man. I think we need a new Tony Stark. And you might be like, oh, wait, but he said he would never touch that moment of his death and all that, right? Well, I actually think the recast is a part of why it keeps that moment. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you could bring Tony Stark back. You could bring a clone of Tony Stark back. You could bring Tony Stark back from a different dimension. You could bring Tony Stark back, but it's like the real Tony Stark, which, trust me, I'm going to get there. And therefore, it's like actual Tony. Tony could literally just come back to life. You know, like seriously, this has happened in comics before. Tony dies multiple times in comics and has been brought back multiple times. It could literally just be Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards brings back Tony Stark. Tony Stark is back. What is it? Magic? Science? The mystery around Tony Stark shocks the world. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. Tony Stark. I say bring him back. And a part of why I say bring him back is because we're going to keep Doctor Doom the exact same goddamn way that he is. Now, this is another one of those things where, like, dude, we haven't seen Doomsday. We don't know. Maybe it's my name is Doom, you know, and we're like, holy shit, recast immediately. But Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr. That's Doctor Doom. I kind of have a feeling that we're all going to love it. I have a feeling they're going to blow us away. I have a feeling that the narrative's going to change. I have a feeling that people are going to be like, damn. And I also have a feeling that my theory is right. Okay? And I've said the theory many times. You guys know what it is, but I'll TLDR it. Okay? The TLDR is that Tony Stark, the one we knew in the Infinity Saga, the one we watched in Iron Man 1 all the way to Avengers Endgame, was actually a variant of Victor Von Doom. Not the other way around. But that character was a variant of Victor Von Doom. He was adopted and raised as Tony Stark. He became Tony Stark, but biologically speaking, and as far as his aura or his soul, right, according to the TVA, he is a variant of Victor Von Doom. And so, then, when we reset the MCU, he would be still Victor Von Doom. And then probably what you would do is have the entire MCU already have happened, and it just is what it is, except that it was just somebody else's face, and then years later, somehow Tony Stark is back. Okay? So like all the other, almost like think of it like this, to all the other Avengers, it's a deep fake Tom Cruise Iron Man that says Iron Man and snaps. Okay? So that's the way that I would do it. And I think getting a cool, young, new Tony Stark would also be really great for the new reset of the MCU. So there it is, guys. What do you think, man? We made it. We did it. Woo! Yeah, man, we did it. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Are you proud of me? We did it, chat. Bust Down says, when the reset happens, do you think the 828 will be a foundation for the rest of 616 because it's set in the 60s? No, but that is a cool thought process. I like where your head's at, but no, I don't think so, bud. Ethan says, if Doom work out post Secret Wars, recast Tony, keep RDJ as Doom. If it doesn't work, recast both and pivot ASAP. Yeah, so that's a smart move, kind of see how people respond. To the films and then kind of make some decisions based on that. Yeah, no, I could agree with that. I could get down. With that. So question, chat. How do I save or how do I share this with you guys? Because I should be able to share this poll or this ranking so you guys can do it. And maybe take a screenshot of it, put it in the Discord, share it with other people. How do I share this? No, like, meaning there's actually a link to, like, you should be able to go to tiermaker.com and find this. Best theory with Josh is always right. Hey, thanks, bud. For F's sake, I missed it. I was working on replacing my kitchen. No, Mikey! Budget starts at 40-50 million. If RDJ is in it, no. Yeah, but so here's the thing. You don't put him in every single movie. You just have Doctor Doom still exist in the universe, and it is RDJ's Doctor Doom. You don't even have to have him show up until like their end game at the end of the saga. Ruins Tony completely. Not even Tony. I bet there will be people that feel that way. You know? For sure. I don't feel that way, obviously, but yeah. Recast Pepper, Rhodes, and Tony. Explore his narcissism, emotions, alcoholism, and more stoic and flawed qualities. Yes, I like that, yeah. You can share the link in the Discord, pin it. Yeah, but like, what do I mean? Or how do I do it? Just literally the link or the H, like, Here, let me try this. Huh. Oh, it is a good link to it. Yo, cool. Okay. So I think you guys could take that link. I'll put it into the YouTube chat too. I'll transfer $100 to any mod who bans Cool Bear. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. What a happy landing, huh? It's reset. No, I know. I want you guys to fill it out your own version of it. That's the whole point. Yeah. I meant peace, not please. I don't ask please. What? Didn't you hate the fan casting as Cillian Murphy as Doom? I think that would be goated. I don't hate the casting. No, I don't hate that casting. I hate people saying the RDJ Doctor Doom casting is terrible and it should have been Cillian. That I hate. Because, again, I actually think there's a reason that it's Downey, and I think it's going to be good. Bro, not every message is for you. Yes, it is. Now I'm going to start interrupting all your text messages. I'm going to pop in all your text messages on your phone. I'm going to hack into your phone, and then I'm going to start commenting on all your texts. And then you can be like, this message isn't for you, Josh. And I'll be like, yes, it is. Do you think they should recast Mary Jane? Yes. Zendaya? I don't even think she wants to do it anymore. So yeah, they should recast her, yeah. I'll be worried when you do one stream without glitching. There was no glitching today. Chat, tell Adam there was no glitching. Just be like, I didn't see no glitching, Adam. No glitching here. If there's any glitching, here, you've brought it. Or whatever. Cam, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, baby. You are a Nerd Venger. Now, yes, there was glitching. What? We glitched during the Netflix segment. True, fair. Okay, fair. Yeah, that's true. But also, no, we didn't. Tell him no. Disney issue is grifting consultants, unfeeling pitch activists, minorities as cash cows and corpos, replacing nurturing good stories with the slop, easy moneymaker, not brand. Yeah, I definitely align with your thinking on that. Yeah, it's just that they don't really care, and so therefore it's not given the attention and the care that it really needs to. Yeah, can you redo the whole last segment? Hell no. Hell no, brother. That was a long one. I'm really hungry now, actually. I need to go eat, dude. I need to get out here and eat. But chat, was it fun? Throw a 1 into the chat. Did you have fun? Was it a fun stream? I'm trying to line up more things like this. So, you know, some days we'll probably just go over the news. Some days we'll just complain about Kathleen Kennedy. But I also want to start introducing some streams where we have a structure and we're doing something that's a little more fun, you know? Hell yeah. Yeah, C-Dub, true. Which, by the way, is why I didn't want to react to that video, because I knew we were going to... I knew I had to get moving on this, because I knew it was going to be long. Hell yeah. Had to fart the whole stream. Me? I don't hold that in. For you guys? No. For you guys? No. Yeah. Finally, let one rip and I feel great. Hey, there you go. What do you think about the new Rivals Horde mode? I think it's cool. I'm going to try it out. I mean, it could be one of those things where you get in there and you're like, oh, this is it. This actually isn't that fun. But because, you know, the preview was pretty... Like, they didn't really show you a lot. Like, one thing I thought would be cool is if you're going from level to level, right? So, like, you start in this level. If you make it through this level or you survive for a certain amount of time, you go to the next level. And it almost had, like, more of a narrative thing. Kind of looks like it might all be one level, very basic, like... But I'm still willing to give it a shot, and it could still be very fun. I appreciate those devs trying it. I appreciate Brad being in that commercial. The Marvel Studios Rivals relationship is cool. But I'm just not... I'm a little skeptic of it, you know. You taking the weekend off? Unfortunately not. I've got a lot to do, trying to catch up on some things. I'm going to try to take tonight mostly off and tomorrow night mostly off. But I have more work to do this afternoon, and I have a lot of work to do tomorrow morning into the afternoon. Part of the reason the kids are gone, actually, is so that Dad can catch up on work. Because, dude, kids are great, but man, they can disrupt a work environment. You know? Do you think Downey would do a standalone Doom movie post Secret Wars, doing his own stuff? Oh yeah, I think he'd be interested. Yeah. Did you watch the Shoe on Head video on the romance genre? I have not. No. But you know, I'm interested. Maybe I'll put it on the list. I have not tried Daredevil. I've played against him though, and he's pretty brutal. He's pretty good from what I've seen, which kind of sucks. Kind of hate it. You know, kind of sucks. Kind of sucks, and I kind of hate it. Yo, what should I eat for lunch, boys? Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a toasted bagel with butter. Sounds great, actually. Doom is a tier Marvel character with Spider-Man and X-Men. He deserves his own movie. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Doom is a heavy hitter. I think that's one of the reasons why it's great that we're getting him, you know? What's wrong with Bureau? It doesn't have any alcohol in it. Some authentic tacos? Oh, that sounds nice, actually. I kind of like that, yeah. No, but I mean, I understand where she's coming from. I've seen a lot of other people make commentaries on that, but more like dry, podcasty dude bros. Josh likes alcoholic, non-alcoholic beer. Yeah, no, for sure. I just think that alcohol belongs in beer. Call me old-fashioned. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I get it. I'm old. I'm out of touch. You know, all the new kids, it's all about no booze. Let's be sober. I don't know. I mean, aren't these the same kids that are like, you've destroyed generational wealth, we'll never buy homes, and everything is fucked? I feel like if you're making that realization, you could use a beer. Oh, well. Did you see the recent SNL sketch about it? It's right up your alley. I actually did not, no, but I bet it was pretty good. Some of us have drinking problems, Josh. Look, motherfuckers got problems. What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Everybody's got problems. What do you want me to do about it? If it's like be chill about Bureau, sorry, can't. Have you watched Splinter Cell? No, but I kind of want to, because aren't they doing a second season? Seems cool, man. I will definitely watch that, Adam. Let me pull it up, but I don't want to watch it right now because they'll ding me, though. They dinged me the last time we watched SNL. I remember. I was like, ooh. Yeah, they don't play on that. I'm only joking. I know. I'm joking too. It's in jest or whatever. No, look, different strokes, different folks. It's like I don't make fun of people if they want to be sober or whatever. It's totally cool. I just think like the idea of beer, like the NA beer idea it is weird to me. It is silly to me. But again, I'm not trying to be rude, and I don't have to make that a thing. Have you been doing any of the Marvel MTG? Nah, brother. They really fucked it up, Cool Bear. I'm more interested in the next one. So the next one's going to be Marvel Superheroes. That set should be pretty good, but like this set is not good, man. It's really not. And I haven't bought any. All right, guys, I'm starving like Marvin, so I got to get on out of here. I appreciate you guys so much, though. Thank you for all the love, man. All the support this week's been crazy. I'm allergic to being nice. That's why I'm usually not. Tried to force one out there for you, but it didn't go well. Okay. Appreciate you guys. Much love, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. No, I don't like that one. There we go. That one will do. Yeah. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? man. Another happy landing. Thought that was a good one, man. You know, it took a while like I thought, but we got in there. Got to the cooking and it was good shit. And we got some news out too. I really have to figure out this fucking clips thing, man. I need to be able to just record this shit. So I'll figure that out. Hopefully by Monday, we'll be back at it, dropping some vids for you guys soon. Dude, I've been dropping so little videos on the main channel, but I have ideas. It's been difficult to juggle everything. But yeah, we'll get that going on. Appreciate you guys. Much love. No Nerd Theory on Monday, by the way. I should have said something. Theory hit me up. He's just going to take the break. I think that's totally fair. He's going to be traveling, and he should just chill, dude. So no Nerd Theory Monday, but we'll be back at it for a very big stream Monday. A lot of Dragon Ball stuff to talk about, hopefully. So I'll see you then. All right, everybody. I'm out of here. Do me a favor on your way out, though. Actually, do me too. Open up your third eye.